Hey gamers, welcome back to a brand new DSP video. That's right, we're going to be watching his Switch 2 coverage. We're going to watch a little bit of the tail end of the day 1 coverage, then we'll get to the day 2 coverage. But since we are talking about Switch 2, it was just announced that Nintendo is delaying the pre-orders for the Switch 2 because of Trump's beautiful tariffs that he has unleashed on the world, the most beautiful, tremendous tariffs. So they're gonna evaluate how that's gonna affect the Switch 2, and then they're gonna open pre-orders. So that's very exciting. I'm sure everyone's happy. At least from what I have seen since April 2nd with these tariffs, have been nothing but I guess you could say positive news if you look at in a way, maybe positive for some people, but it looked very negative. I mean, the stock market's in the red, and prices are probably gonna go up. A lot of uncertainties going on. It's a boom, as they say. I mean, it's not a boom as you'd hope, but it's a boom, no less. But we'll see what happens. That's as political as I'm gonna get. These tariffs are doing something, and I don't think it's good. I know, crazy take. I don't think these tariffs are gonna be great. I don't think they're gonna be good. But who needs video games? Everyone hates video games anyway. A game comes out, people bitch about it. So maybe this is a good thing. Maybe I'm just being a negative Nancy. It could be good because that means if we can't buy video games, we can actually touch grass again. So maybe that's what we need. Maybe we just need video games to only be something for the rich. They can play them. Let the rich have their toys. People under the rich can go outside and play with sticks or something. So that's nice. That's a positive way to look at it. We'll all go outside and we'll all have fun, as much as we can, I guess. But that's as political as I'm gonna get. I know you guys love it. You guys absolutely love my political takes. That's why I am starting Theo Does Politics. That's right. I'm gonna do a political stream. It's gonna be fun. We are gonna be talking about figures. Should they be legal? Should we make it illegal? Should comedy be legal? What are the ramifications of comedy? Really, let's talk about the comedy aspect. Okay, enough of this bullshit. 10 of you already left the video or leaving me a happy comment. Sorry, I'm in a mood right now. I'm like kind of like happy right now. I'm kind of happy, kind of excited, kind of like energetic right now. I don't know. It is one of those days, just one of those days, as they say. So let's just get into it. I don't know why I'm like in this very like energetic way. I don't know why. I can't figure it out. I started this day. Here I am. So let's go. Let's fucking get into this video. Jesus, enough dilly dallying. God damn it.
I do have something to say, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, I want a Switch 2. I'm going to hopefully get one. I'm hopefully going to cover the launch, unbox it, play games on it, and show you everything.
By the way, this is what I was thinking about when he was talking about this, how he signed up for the Nintendo program and all this other shit. I'm thinking in the back of my mind, I could see this dude lie about not getting in. Like he could say like, guys, I put my information, they denied me, huh? And he's gonna be like really upset and like this and that, and then some fan is gonna gift them a Switch 2, not knowing DSP actually bought one. That way he gets one free Switch 2 and the one he bought, so that way one can be given to Cat. That's what I'm thinking. That's my Theo theory on that one. So I'm gonna keep an eye out if someone in this chat offers him to buy a Switch 2 or whatever. That's gonna be something else. But I can see someone buying him a Switch 2. It's not outside the realm of possibilities here because people bought him a lot of shit. So it's not a stretch of the imagination that someone will buy him a Switch 2.
Thing that it's about, so you can make the decision for yourself whether or not you want to get one for you or your family. That's my job as a content creator and a gamer on the internet, right? It's my job to do that kind of stuff to cover it for you. I'll incur the cost, I'll pay for it, I'll do it all.
Oh
But
my god, what a sacrifice.
I got to be honest with all of you,
Sacrifice
all
Brunel.
right? I feel there
I
are
feel.
3 critical problems
Oh
with the launch of
shit.
the Switch 2.
Critical
You ready?
problems. Are you ready? I'm not ready.
Okay. Problem number 1 with the Switch 2 is very simple. These game improvement upgrades should be free. If you already
I
own
mean, this is like low hanging fruit. I mean, obviously, like these upgrades should be free, or at least like, in my opinion, I think like $5 is like ideal, but it's also, in my opinion, kind of unrealistic. Because they want money, obviously. $10 has been the precedent, at least that Sony set, and I think that is at least an amount people can stomach. And I think that's fine. 15, you're kind of pushing it. So that's my stance. It should be at least minimum $10. Whatever. They still have not put out the price for the upgrade, so I don't know how much it's gonna be. You can get them for free with the Sony Online subscription. So there's that. But anyways, uh, the thing that is weird, no, oh my god, not weird, but interesting, I guess, is that it's not just a simple performance upgrade. Like they're adding stuff to it. Like Zelda's getting like a phone integration with it, where you can actually use the phone as a GPS, which is kind of silly. And you could also do other stuff with that. As far as Tears of the Kingdom is concerned, I don't know how that's gonna affect Breath of the Wild. I think Breath of the Wild is just gonna be GPS, honestly. And then with Kirby, you're getting like a whole new like story expansion as well. So there's at least like it's that plus something else. But I wouldn't say it's gonna be worth 40. I'm thinking it's gonna be 40. That's gonna be the minimum. That's the starting point. I think it could be more than 40, but I think the upgrade is gonna be 40. That's my assumption, because if you get that free with the expansion, sure that's like $10 more, but it's only $10. Then you get like, GameCube games and N64 and all this other stuff. So it's like, you know, it, that's what I'm thinking. Uh, is why it would be 40, because it's probably gonna make you want to get the expansion pass more so than paying. Uh, you know, whatever. I do think at least what they should do, maybe this is what they should do the performance stuff for free, and then have the phone integration for Zelda, the story expansion for Kirby can be like that could be the paid expansion, the paid upgrade. But you get the performance and all that with that, right? But I mean, it's Nintendo.
own Zelda Breath of the Wild on the regular Switch, you should be able to download it and play it on your Switch 2 with full upgrades for free. I mean, this has been available on both Xbox and Sony consoles, where there's a previous
This is kind of with an asterisk though, because as far as like Sony and Microsoft are concerned, it seems more up to the company if they what they want to do with it. Because yeah, some games like Call of Duty, Street Fighter, maybe even Resident Evil 4 remake, whatever. If you buy the PS4 one, you get the PS5 one for free. So like, they would do that, but then like you'd see Sony like, hey, want to get the PS5 version of Ghost of Sushi or the PS5 version of Horizon Zero Dawn, Last of Us 2 remaster, whatever. You can get that for like $10. Like, so you do have to pay for that. So you know what I'm saying?
previous version of the game, and then there's a performance boost if you play it on the next gen console, and it's free. There are remasters that have released, and that's a different situation. This is not Breath of the Wild remastered. This is just Breath of the Wild with a better frame rate and better resolution. It should
But
be
that
free.
is kind of a remaster.
Nintendo
though,
shouldn't nickel and dime you for that.
if you think about it. These
In fact, they
remasters
don't
are
have
just
to.
like they touch it up. They
There's
don't
no need for them to do that.
do anything
They were
more
going to
than
make those
that.
games run on the Switch too, regardless. Now, what Nintendo is doing is trying to fool you. Oh, well, if you have the Nintendo Switch Online with the expansion pass, we'll just give it to you for free. That's not free.
It's funny he says this when Nintendo does it, but then through Game Pass, this dude's like, "You get all these games for free with Game Pass, man. Oh, the Ubisoft. I'm gonna use the Ubisoft thing to play Ass Cream. You get that for free, man. Oh, free, free, free." He said that about Game Pass a lot, by the way. But Nintendo does it. Oh, guys, it's not free. You're paying for a subscription. I mean, I guess you could argue it's semantics because he there are sometimes he does acknowledge that you're not getting these games on Game Pass for free, but it is a good offer. But he always goes back to saying for free randomly, like, you can't use that same logic to understand that these upgrades are the same way. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a fool you. It's just like, hey, this is an added benefit. Like, it's not a full moment. It's just like, yeah, you're paying a subscription. Like, I do feel the dual-edged sword. I mean, again, like, I say this about Game Pass. At least with Game Pass, they give you a discount to buy the game, so you're more than likely just renting the game through Game Pass. Then you could buy it. Like, it's not like, hey, this is the only way. Which is what I criticize with the Virtual Console on the Switch. It's like, you're only having access because Nintendo's giving you the access to play Wind Waker on the Switch too. But Nintendo can say in the future, we're gonna remove Wind Waker. And it's like, but I want to own that. But it's like, like, why not have that option? So that way, like, you get money for people who may not have this subscription, but they could buy the game. You get money from that, and then you get people who just want the subscription to have it or whatever. Like, it's how I feel about streaming services. Like, I'm not wholly against them because I think the convenience is nice, but there should be ways to buy stuff because I can accept the temporary aspect of streaming, and also I can accept that if I could buy it. If I can't buy it, then it being temporary is bullshit, which is the issue I have with streaming services as a whole. But I have that's my issue with the streaming services. The nature of it, I'm not against. Like I wouldn't necessarily say that streaming services are wholly a scam for that, but they should offer you to buy something if you can't watch it. Like, it's inexcusable that like the Looney Tunes cartoons on Max or HBO, whatever, are all gone. At least the old ones. And it's like, can I buy them? No. Can I buy the Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy? No, but it's gone, so I can't watch it. Like, if I can't buy it, then like, how am I gonna watch it? Like, this leads you to piracy. So that's my issue with streaming, is that it's a very easy argument for piracy than anything else. Because if you have an audience that's willing to pay for stuff, like if you can't host it on your server for a long period of time, then just sell the file on like iTunes or whatever. Like, provide it for people to buy. Like, people will buy it. But whatever. Enough of that. But that's how I feel about this. Like, I do like that with the Nintendo expansion pass, you do get DLC for free. I do like that because I do plan on like keeping my subscription because I do use it and all that. But if I could buy that, that's nice too. But the pricing does matter with these upgrades. Like that, I'm not gonna sit there and say, well, the pricing isn't that bad. If it's like 40, that is a ripoff in my opinion. So that's where I land with that. I like the idea that you get DLC with the Nintendo Online stuff, but the pricing for that is its own like argument. Like,
The expansion pass is incredibly limited. You get N64 games, you get, I think, of some handheld games, you get the expansion for Animal Crossing, and you get the expansion for Mario Kart 8.
he doesn't know. He went through all of this stuff on Twitter, and he doesn't know they added GameCube games. Like, you also get GameCube games with this online expansion. He doesn't think about that? Hello?
That's the expansion pass. Most people don't need that. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to get more people to do the ongoing expansion pass with really no value added. This is the new value added, but it's really not. It could easily be free. Nintendo doesn't need to nickel and dime you for this, but they're doing it on purpose because they think they can. They think that you're a sucker and you're going to pay more to play this game you.
This dude, he's so negative when it comes to Nintendo. He is so quick to say that this company is thinking you're a sucker. Nintendo thinks you're a piece of shit. Nintendo hates you, and this and that. Like, he's so quick to get to that with Nintendo, but Microsoft and Sony, it's like he dances around that with them. But Nintendo, these guys, they think they're smarter than you. But it's like every company knows that they can get away with doing certain things and all this kind of all that kind of stuff. Like, do you think he's saying like, oh, if you don't buy it, they're gonna learn? The thing is, like, on paper, that's how it should work, but it's not. He brings up the Switch OLED. I think on the April 3rd podcast, I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but in the April 3rd podcast, he mentions like, oh yeah, they have the OLED for the Switch One, and then the Switch 2 they went back to the like the LCD screen, whatever, because they know that they could do it again. But the thing is, if nobody bought the Switch OLED, right? Let's assume that it flopped miserably. That would then give the justification for Nintendo to just not do the OLED screen. They may think, oh, no one bought it because they don't like the OLED. They don't like that technology. So, like, it goes both ways with that. Because that's you can't really know what a company is going to be thinking, because at the end of the day, it's a company. They just are they're like DSP, where they just have unfair expectations. They learn the wrong lessons when something happens. Like, you're not gonna get a company that's gonna act accurately, like, learn. I mean, look at Capcom. They had a slump, and then they learned and made Resident Evil 7. But over that time, Capcom kind of found other ways to get greedy again. So there's other ways that they found ways to nickel and dime their consumer base, which I think is why there's some hesitation with Capcom. I don't think it's, there you go. That's all I'll say about that. We don't need another tangent.
You already played with slightly better improvements on graphics. That's not fair. I think that's absolutely underhanded and ridiculous. Okay?
But at the end of the day, though, like, I also feel like a lot of these people who played Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, they may not even care about the performance issue. Like, I didn't care that much. I played it all the same. And I may not even go back to it, if I were to get the Switch 2. Like, it's a nice option, but it's kind of whatever. I think it'd be interesting to see if it's gonna be a blanket policy for these upgrades. Like, I know some people said that there was like a code in Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition that allowed that game to run at 60 frames. So they're like, oh, is this gonna get an upgrade on Switch 2? And I think, like, that could happen, but is it gonna be a free upgrade? Who knows? Like, is it only Nintendo games that are doing this weird upgrade policy, or is it gonna be every game on the Switch? Like, I think that would be more interesting to, like, kind of find out. I would hope it would be at least only Nintendo games. That way, like, third parties can kind of, like, prove a point, I guess. Like, if Xenoblade offers that upgrade for free, and people love it, that could influence Nintendo to like, oh, they like that, but they're not, because they want to push their online service, obviously.
Number two, Nintendo is trying to act like it's not a big deal, but it is, that you have to get a brand new micro SD express card.
I'm gonna be real. Like, it does suck. It does suck. I'm not gonna lie and pretend otherwise. But as much as of it sucks, it does make sense why they need a different SD card, because of the hardware and all that kind of stuff. Like, and I think that's a fair trade-off, in my opinion. He brings up the prices, but I'm pretty sure the expansion for, like, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and all that is roughly the same amount. Because I got an expansion on the PS5, that was like That was in the hundreds, I think. Like I want to say like maybe 150 or something. I know I got on sale on top of that, but it was like a 2 terabyte expansion. Like I do think that uh these prices for the SD card are no different than that. And DSP's gonna argue, well, that at least was a big thing, but it's still like similar hardware. And then on top of that, this is like small hardware. Like I don't need it to be a big thing to justify the price. It's the thing that it does that justifies the price to me. So I'm not like super mad. I mean, it's disappointing, sure, but it's not because, in my opinion, I think it's like it should have been like, look, you can use the old one. It's just you're not gonna get the data rates. You'll just get loading times and all this. And then if you just want to upgrade, you can do that, and then you'll get like a better performance out of it. But I don't know how these like Switch 2 games are gonna use these things necessarily, or how it affects the gameplay or whatever. Like you know, but that aside, I would also argue the fact that you don't need to go Nintendo brand. Like you could go big company brand, sure, that makes these things, because those will also go on sale. Because these are not beholden to Nintendo. Uh, like the one that I got for Switch, for example, that is a brand name SD card, but that also is on sale because again, Nintendo does not control these prices or whatever. So that can happen with the Switch too. Because these are not proprietary to Nintendo. Like Nintendo's not the only one making these things. Uh, and on top of that, this console is just coming out. I don't think anyone's gonna be in the market to upgrade their like SD card day one. They're probably gonna upgrade down the line, like when we get more games that are like RPGs and all this other stuff, like down the line, where you may want to keep these on your card or whatever. Then you're gonna be in the market for that. But right now at launch, you're not gonna need that. Like I don't expand my Switch memory, like until like 3 years of me owning it is when I started. I was like, okay, I need to get something a bigger card because now I'm getting a lot of games. But before, it's like, yeah, I have like 5 games. Like I don't need a bigger hard drive right now. And that's like a thing I think DC's not really understanding because he's saying like you're gonna want to get this right now, man. And no, because how many people are gonna buy every game that's coming out at launch? Like even if the Switch 2 games are $60, is everyone gonna buy every launch title? No, no one has done. Nobody does that. They buy like one, maybe two, and then the rest they just play their old games. Like no one is buying every single launch game. Like nobody has done that. Only children with like parents that are willing to save their money to do that for their kid. And then when they do that for Christmas. So that's another different thing entirely.
To store games. This console only comes with 256 gigabytes of storage. Probably around 20 to 50 of that will be the operating system and apps and things to make it run. That means you only have around 200 gigs of storage for your games. And as I showed you, a game like Street Fighter 6, which isn't even that big of a game, is already over 50 gigabytes. So can you imagine when you start
I think people debunked his game storage thing because again, they could change that for the Switch too. Like they could because like I'm gonna use my favorite game, Guilty Gear, as an example. This game is a Switch game. Runs really good. It runs at 60 frames, but they cut the corner of like the resolution a little bit. Like they don't have the thick outlines that the console version has, but they did this to make it run on the Switch the best it could. So they're just gonna do that with these other games. Like they're not just taking the game from the PS5 and then just copy pasting that into the Switch 2 cartridge. Like that's not what they're doing. They're gonna like modify it to make it fit at a reasonable price, as a reasonable like storage. That's what they're gonna do. Like I think Cyberpunk's not as big as he said it's gonna be. Like all this stuff.
start getting really big games on there, I mean, Mario Kart World alone sounds like it's going to be huge. Now imagine a game like the new Mario. or an open world
He,
RPG.
he's so used to these AAA studios just overloading game data. Like all these games are like 150 gigs. Eat it, and he thinks that's like the norm now. But it's like Nintendo doesn't do that. Like they're very good at making like single digit games, like single digit gigabytes, and all this other stuff. Like they're not gonna like make 100 gigabyte game or whatever the fuck. Like they're just not gonna do that.
Those things could be in excess of 100 gigs. Are you going to only have 2 games on your Switch at once? Of course not. You're going to want to expand. But these micro SD cards, these express ones, are brand new tech and are way overpriced.
But
$200 for 1 terabyte?
you don't have to buy that right now though. Like you can buy that like 2 years from now. Again, as I said, like these storage upgrades are great. It's great to have these options, but nobody's doing this day one. Nobody upgraded the storage on their PS5 day one. They did that later. You do that when you start to get more games for your console, where you start to have problems where like I can't delete this because I may want to play this later or whatever. But that's like way down the line. No, like right now, the games you are gonna be playing day one is Mario Kart World Tour because the other games are like what Yakuza Zero Director's Cut. Like, how many people are gonna buy that day one? Like, if you're buying a Switch 2, you're gonna go with Mario Kart. Like that's gonna be the game you're buying. And then in July you have Donkey Kong. Like, and that's it for now. You're not gonna be running into, oh shit, I ran out of space. Oh my god, I should have gotten this hard drive space right now. Like, you're not gonna have that issue. You're gonna have that issue like 2 years maybe. Like, he thinks you need to buy these things day one. You don't need to do this day one, man. And this is not a problem for DSP either, by the way, because it's DSP. Think about it.
I mean, what's the sweet spot of pricing? $100 for 512 gigabytes? Do you understand how overpriced that is? It's insane. And there is no reason for Nintendo to be in this situation except that they absolutely demanded that the console be portable and a home console at once. This is where Nintendo shot themselves in the foot. With the Switch 1, it never was intending to do 4K, 60 frames. They knew that their console was underpowered, so they sold it that way. It's a portable, but it's also a home console, but it's not meant to compete. Now, with the Switch 2, Nintendo is actually trying to compete.
I love for years, DSP. Nintendo should compete. They should compete with Sony and Microsoft. They make a console that is like semi-competing with them. I don't think it's gonna be as powerful as an Xbox or a PS5. I'm just gonna say that, but it's gonna semi-compete. They finally make a console that DSP can fucking say, wow, they can actually do 60 frames, guys, 120 frames, wow, guys. But, like, then he's, like, seeing oh, now things are expensive, dude. Like, it could be, he thinks it's because it's a portable and this and that, but it's still gonna be expensive if it was a dedicated home console. Because to get to these specs and to get to these points, these are expensive chips that they'd be, like, doing. That's why I think like the Switch 2 is probably a reasonable price. I'm not against the 450. I think 450 is fine for the Switch 2. We'll see with the tariffs. Okay, we'll see what happens with that. But 450 on its own, I think that's fine. I don't think that's like insanely out there. For the hardware, I think that's fine. I mean, I think the number's kind of weird, but I think they just did not want it to be like $500 for the console. So I think that's what's going on there. I think 500 is the actual price that they would have to make something back on, which is why they're probably packaging Mario Kart with that one. But yeah. It's just with this technology, of course, the price are gonna go insane, are gonna go up. I don't think if this was a home console, a dedicated home console, that these prices would be any better or any different. I would argue it would probably be more expensive because they would probably be doing more with the with like it's just you're not gonna get affordable storage. Like again, the storage I got on my PS5, the expansion storage, is literally I got that on sale, and that was still like a couple hundred. I want to say like 150. It is how much I got it for. That is still a lot of money. Like, but that's like a 2 terabyte thing. $200 for 1 terabyte, like whatever. But these can go on sale at any point. But again, you're not doing this day one with your Switch 2. You're going to be doing this when you have like 20 million games or whatever the fuck. It's just you're not doing that right now. Switch 1 games don't take that much space as it is, so you can safely port the games you're playing now on Switch 1 to Switch 2 and have Mario Kart running on there. Like, this is not a real concern in my opinion. Like, I saw that, I'm like, oh, I'm going to run out of space. I'm not thinking about that right now. I'm going to be thinking about that probably in 2 years from now.
4K graphics, 60 frames per second, VRR enabled. That's all well and good. But the problem is, your storage is a portable little memory card. You didn't think this through. You didn't flush out the idea. Instead, you just did some kind of a Band-Aid solution.
So what are they gonna do? Like, again, it doesn't matter. You're still paying triple digits for a terabyte regardless. Like, this is not a real concern. Shut up.
Oh, we'll just use the faster memory card. But it's too expensive. Nintendo's supposed to be the budget console, right? $450 for the Switch 2.
I mean, to a degree, he's right. A budget console, sure. But, you can only go so cheap. I mean, because even when the Switch 2 was rumored and we didn't know the price, people were already assuming it's gonna be a little bit more pricier than the Switch 1. Like, they're not gonna give you the same price. Like, no one was thinking this was gonna be $300. Like, that would be insane. People, like, dude, at that point, everyone is buying it.
$500 to bundle it with Mario Kart. But if you have to tack on $200 for a memory card,
that's assuming
$100 plus for a controller and accessories.
Even
now
that
spending
may be
$900. That's not a budget-friendly option anymore. Right now, you could buy a PS5, you could buy an Xbox, and you could toss a ton of accessories, even external storage on there for the same price or cheaper than what Nintendo seems to be offering with the Switch.
No. I don't think it would be cheaper. It can easily get you up to 1,000. Like, it's the same thing, man. Shut up.
Too. So they screwed this up.
Because I remember when the PS5 was coming out, everyone hated how the only way you could have got it decently, had a better chance of getting, were the bundles that GameStop were doing. And everyone was like, I don't want these bundles with all these dumb fuck accessories. Like, nobody wanted these bundles. Like, nobody.
They absolutely screwed it up with the pricing of this memory card. All right? And now, number 3, the third biggest mistake that Nintendo has just made with the Switch 2. Ladies and gentlemen, the Switch 2 has no innovation.
That is the only fucking thing he uses that's a Stream Deck for. That fucking corny noise. Like, dude, I have all these cool things. Like,
shut up, bitch!
Okay, that's gonna get me claimed.
Are you gonna boohoo? Are you
fuckhead?
And what he uses, dun dun dun, all the time. And he has like the Adam Sandler, You Blew It, the Michael Jordan, Get Help. And he never uses those, but he uses the fucking soundboard that he used to have with Leanna. That he used to use that was so cringy. That's the one he uses. He does not get actual interesting sound clips. He gets the fucking boomer clips that people don't want to hear. And then to say that the Switch 2 has no innovation. Jesus, this dude really tries so hard to hate on the mouse gimmick. When he looked at that mouse, he was like, so you can't use, so you have to use on a desk, but then it says like on your lap. and he took his actual mouse and he tried to use his lap. And I'm thinking, like, call me crazy, call me a dumbass, but I don't think the Joy-Con is gonna use the same technology as a literal mouse. I'm just gonna say it's probably using something else to like use that to make the lap make sense. But it's probably not using the same technology as a mouse, because the mouse is made exclusively for a table. They're not made to be used on a lap. Like, these Joy-Cons are they have to understand that, yeah, people are gonna be sitting on a couch. Yeah, they're not gonna have a desk on their lap. I mean, maybe it's not gonna work well. I mean, again, that's a wait and see thing with that, to be fair, but I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say it's not using the same technology as a mouse. So I think him using his actual mouse on his lap was a dented thing to test, because yeah, it's not gonna work. But this is a Joy-Con, like, it's completely different.
0.
But to say that's not innovation because a mouse exists is also stupid, because how many console gamers use mouse and keyboard, right? And even then, it's not using mouse necessarily the same way, because when people use mouse on PC, they are also using it in tandem with a keyboard. This is using a mouse with a joystick as well. Like, it's a different setup, and also it's on console and it's built in. Like, you buy an Xbox or a PlayStation, you're not getting a PlayStation mouse. You're not getting an Xbox mouse, and these things are probably gonna be made for fucking tables. This is something that is made exclusively for the Switch, so that is innovative in of itself. That you can also bring it with you. Like, it's not an added accessory or a dedicated accessory. It's built into the console, so that is innovative. And he's saying it's not because a mouse exists. Like, and the thing is, you know, he has shat on Nintendo for doing these gimmicks in the past. He calls them gimmicks. The Wiimote gimmick. Nobody wants motion controls. And now he's like, oh, the Wii motion controls. Ah! But now, oh, it's so beautiful. I love it. But back then he hated it. But now he's like, where are the gimmicks? You can never win with DSP. Like, and you know, that's the other thing. He was begging Nintendo to stop doing gimmicks for years. They do a console that has less gimmicks, and the only gimmick is like the portability hybrid of it, and he still hates it. They make the Switch 2 that competes and has no innovation, according to him, and that's still not good enough for him. But then if they do innovate, he'd still hate it. You can never win. This is like the one market research that Nintendo should just ban. They should not listen to what DSP says, because they would just go in a loop and then kill themselves. Minecraft themselves. They'll play Minecraft and like do that. They'll just like close up shop and give up. Like they'll just give up, because they'll be so annoyed. We do what this guy said, and he's still like saying we suck. Fuck this. We're not gonna make games anymore. Fuck this. We're closing down, because you're never gonna win with DSP. You'll never win. You'll never please him.
All right, I want you to think about the history of Nintendo consoles up to now, okay? The NES, bringing arcade quality games home. The SNES,
Right.
storage on cartridges and a much improved controller. The history of Nintendo consoles up to now,
about this.
okay? The NES, bringing arcade quality games home. The SNES, storage on cartridges and a much improved controller. Nintendo 64, better graphics and the first ever thumbstick. GameCube.
He has shat on the N64 as well, but it's like, yeah, the first ever thumbstick. Okay.
A portable console with mini discs and many new
This portable thing, I think he got it because I think he learned it from like a DSP React video he did. But what he's talking about, like, since it has a handle, you can like carry it to your friend's house. Like, you don't have to like, it's not hard to carry it around. So I see why people are like, oh, it's not portable because you can't play it on a train, dude. but he's saying like, you can carry it around. It's a roundabout way to just say like, hey, you can easily carry it around. But that's not even the selling point of the GameCube. Like, that was like a cute thing that they added because it's like, yeah, you can take it to your friend's house and show off to your friends that you have a GameCube or whatever. Like, it's just a cute thing that they added because the gimmick or the thing that they sold the GameCube on is just their games and their name, and it's a cute little console. Like, that's all the GameCube was. It didn't have any fancy gimmicks either.
New control features. The Wii Motion Control
Wait, what?
4, better graphics, and the first ever thumbstick. GameCube, a portable console with mini discs and many new control
Mini discs wasn't great though. And then he says,
features.
sorry, I gotta
Nintendo
this
64,
back.
better graphics, and the first ever thumbstick. GameCube, a portable console with mini discs and many new control features.
Many new control features. They added the X and Y buttons, I guess. I mean, I think it's the same amount of buttons, but they made the C buttons a C stick. So it has 2 sticks. Okay. I mean, they did have the bongos, the Donkey Konga bongos, but that's like only for Donkey Kong games. Then there's DDR Mario Mix, but that's a DDR game. I mean, come on. So, what other control gimmicks? The microphone? But like, again, it was very limited access. So, it didn't have that many new control features. So, that's not even true either.
The Wii Motion Controls for the masses. The Wii U, a touchpad screen built into your controller, and
that he hated, by the way. He hated that. Like, I love that the revisionist history. He hated the motion controls in the Wii, and says that the motion controls is what sold it to the masses. It was Wii Sports. It was just the accessibility to the casuals and all this other stuff. That it appealed to. Then it coming with a free game was also like an added bonus. The Wii U, like, yeah, it was like, he's kind of right about these things, but it's just like, he hated the tablet. He said that nobody was asking for this, and like, nobody even liked it. It was a bulky thing that nobody cared for. Like, it just wasn't a good an added feature. Like, it was interesting, but it didn't like mean anything.
the Switch, the first ever hybrid home console and portable system ever. What is the innovation in Switch 2? Game chat? The C button? We already have it.
So when he talked about the game chat, when he was going over it, it was so stupid. He was like, I knew he was gonna mock it because the way he did it was like, so look what they have. Game chats, an innovative game chat. Look at this. Now, I agree. I knew when I was reacting, I knew he was going to mock this. Because, sure, game chat itself has existed in other consoles. I agree. It's like not, breaking new ground here. But it's not just simple game chat. They added like game screen sharing. A lot of people like criticize the frame rate that was shown with that, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of bad, but as long as your screen is fine, like, I don't think you're gonna care if like your friend's screen is running at 2 frames per second or whatever. Like, I don't think it's that big of a deal, and I do feel like that's gonna be something that they can like find, like, they can fix over time, right? Like, maybe, and if it needs a hardware improvement, well, there you go. They're gonna sell a Switch 2 Pro that DSP would love, right? But that could be something that could be fixed over time. Again, it seems like when they announced it, sounded like this thing was gonna be in beta. Like, that's why they're gonna give it for free for a year. It does feel like it's gonna be a beta program, not like a finished thing. So I wonder how much that's gonna be fixed over time or not. But I think the nature of that being there is kind of cool. Like, this fear of at least giving Nintendo some props is insane. Like, I just love that DSP really just wants to sit here and be the first to criticize Nintendo. Like, as if it's brave. Wow, DSP is criticizing the Switch too. like everyone's criticized the Switch too. Like there's exciting things about it. Like I just feel like just sitting there being like shitting on it is kind of like lame. Like yeah, you can criticize anything, but you can also be like genuine about something too. Like I feel like sometimes I overly hate Apple for fun, but there are things I do think is cool that Apple does with their products. Like I like the Apple Vision Pro. Sure, you could say it's expensive, but this is a luxury item. Like openly, it's an openly luxurious item. Like, but I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that it's not cool. Like it is kind of cool to have that. To have that, like if I had a lot of money to throw around, I would have bought it, but I don't have that kind of money. So I can't get it. It's out of my realm. Unless you guys want to buy it for me, guys. I mean, come on. Right? I am making attractor content. I am shitting on DSPs, so that must mean I'm making bank, correct? But still, like, I can shit on Apple and acknowledge that Apple also does some cool things. Like, these things can both happen. I can acknowledge that Nintendo does some cool stuff and say Nintendo sucks in other spots. Like, it just is weird that every time DSP talk about Nintendo, it's like he has this very strong aversion to like praise them, and then he sits there like I'm a Nintendo fan, guys, but he never like says anything nice or good about Nintendo. Only the only time he says something good is when he knows he can get attention. Oh, I can't wait to get the Switch too because a lot of people will be watching me. Oh, people are gonna be excited to see me play Donkey Kong. But it's never anything genuine from him. Like he's not. There's nothing genuine that he's excited for. Only in the guise of like having people watch his streams or whatever. Like, was there something cool about the Switch 2? Well, you wouldn't know that by watching this guy. Like, again, I sat there. Oh man, I was kind of whatever the first half. The second they showed GameCube and Wind Waker, I was like, God damn it. Like, that got me. I love the GameCube, I love Wind Waker, and it's like, God damn it. Like, that low key kind of wants me to buy it. Kind of, but it's like, I can buy the Switch 2 later and still get Wind Waker, but it's still like, I want to play that so bad. So bad. I think I have a Wii that plays GameCube games for sure. I have a GameCube as well, I think I still have my GameCube. I'm missing a cable. Uh I also have uh the Wii U, so I have the Wind Waker HD. So I have ways to play it right now, but I would kill to play that on my Switch. And it's like, man, I could get the Switch 2 if I could get the Switch 2 and play Wind Waker, I would. Like that was the one thing I'm like biting my fingers on, but it's like I don't know, man. We'll see what happens. It's a wild time that we're living in. I may have to wait until 4 years from now. Maybe 8.
It's called Discord. It's called Xbox Live Chat. We already have these features. They're just through
But Discord is also like a thing that has to be attached to a console, and like it's not like perfect either. This is something that Nintendo's like baking into the console, like it's built in.
third parties, but we already have them. All that Nintendo is doing is playing catch up.
How many people are actively using Discord or even know how to connect their Discord to their PS5, or willing to go through that, right? Like how many? Hold on, guys. I'm getting hungry. I gotta eat before this becomes a 5-hour video. I'll be back. I'm gonna pause the recording. All right, I'm all set to go back into this bullshit. All right, let's if I can continue the shit show. All right.
With the rest of the industry, we need to get graphics on par with everyone else. Finally, we need to actually have a communication system. Finally, it took them till 2025 to figure out they actually need to catch up with the rest of their competition if they want to hang. They can continue to be this console that stands alone and sells like hotcakes, but has a bunch of shovelware and every once in a while has a big first party title.
It is so funny to me. DSP considers any game that has come out on the Switch that's not a Nintendo game as shovelware. Ah, yes, shovelware, such as Xenoblade Chronicles, Definitive Edition 1, and 2, and 3, and X, shovelware. Uh, Ring Fit, everyone loved that game apparently, and that shovelware. Let's see. Man, Bayonetta, shovelware, Astral Chain, shovelware. Ah, yes, everything on the Switch is shovelware that's not Nintendo. Like, dude, there's so many other games, but he has never touched his Switch. And he's sitting there like, yeah, there's all this shovelware on the Switch. Dude, you barely even know what a Switch is. He doesn't know anything. And he's sitting there like, oh yeah, I know all this that's on the Switch. That's all shovelware, man. Okay.
Title, or they can actually try to compete by having a console that will do similar resolution, similar frame rate, have communication, have the face cam, have it all. But to do that, they're kind of saying, we admit we don't have innovation anymore. There is no
Okay.
innovating factor whatsoever with the Switch 2. In fact, even the name isn't interesting. Switch 2? Has
Okay,
Nintendo
but-
ever done a
But the thing is, like, they probably because they probably everyone knew they wanted to keep. They're gonna have to keep the portability hybrid design for the Switch because everyone loved that in Switch 1. Like, why would they get rid of that? Secondly, they probably don't want another Wii U. See, this is the thing. DSP thinks that it didn't sell because of the game tablet and this, that. No. It was simply because people didn't know it was a whole new console. They thought it was an addition to the Wii. I have seen so many people, IRL, literally said, the Wii U is just an addition to the Wii, right? Like, I don't need to buy that. I could buy like the tablet later. I have the Wii, so I don't need the Wii U. And it's like, no, this is a whole new console, and it was just confusing. That's why it didn't sell. That's what. So there you go. It wasn't anything else, and he doesn't want to acknowledge that. There's weird things he doesn't acknowledge when he talks about Nintendo. Like, he doesn't acknowledge that the reason why Nintendo backed out of the collaboration with Sony was because they didn't want to lose their properties to Sony. Like, because they thought that they were going to steal their games and steal their properties with like a legal contract. Like, oh yeah, we'll do this, but we retain the rights or whatever. And they didn't want to do that, so they backed out. That's why that happened, and he doesn't know that. He said, "Oh, because Nintendo thinks they know better than Sony." It's like that's not what happened. But okay.
on a 2 console before? You could argue Wii U was the sequel to the Wii, but it wasn't called Wii 2. This is the first time ever
This is
Nintendo.
weird. They never do sequel consoles. You can see the Wii U, but it's like that wasn't a sequel. I mean, every console is a sequel console, though. Just because it's a different name, like that doesn't mean it's not a new game, right? Like, come on.
Actually is feeling
Where's the
not
prequel console?
creative and uninspired. Oh, the controller can be a mouse. We already have mice.
Yeah, but it may not work the same way, but it's built into the console. Like that's the innovative part. Is like with a Steam Deck, you need to buy a mouse to plug it in. And even then, like it may not like it's weird that way, right? Like it's just innovative. Like I guess you could argue that it's not innovative enough. Like it's not a crazy innovation, but again, do you really think Nintendo that DSP is gonna sit there and like love it if they were like, oh yeah, the controller is a stick, and you have to like shove it up your ass? Like, do you think DSP is gonna love it? I mean, maybe he will, maybe he would, but like they probably also just don't want to have like a crazy gimmick if they also want to be a portable console. Like, you would see the issue with that, right? Oh man.
Oh, we have a webcam. We already have webcams. You're not adding any.
They didn't say the webcam was innovative. And this thing about, like, sure, Nintendo wanted to, like, make each console unique in weird ways or whatever. Like because they've done that in the past, sure. But I wouldn't say that this was, like, a selling point Because again, like, what was the gimmick of the GameCube? It was just a cute console. Like, that's it. Like, it wasn't anything else. The Wii was the only one that tried to reinvent or be unique. And then the Wii was just trying to kind of like do a half and half. Like, it wanted to still like capitalize on hardcore gamers, but also have some unique twist for the casual. And then they went back to like just making a console. Like, their consoles were never really any major, massive innovation nonsense. Like, their games, I guess, are innovative, but they're games. I mean, they can only be innovative to a point. Like, this weird thirst for innovation from Nintendo by DSP is like insane, and it's kind of insane how, to the extent he expects them to innovate. Like, with that logic, why doesn't DSP says that he's a meaningful, unique streamer, blah blah blah. Why is it being more unique? He's doing the same shit every day. We already see people play video games. We've already seen this kind of stuff in podcasts before. We already seen a microphone. Phil, we've already seen these letters. Like, do something unique, man. What's meaningful about this? But no, everything's meaningful, everything's great. But Nintendo needs to like reinvent the wheel every time they make a console. But then if they reinvent it too much, that's too crazy and stupid, and nobody asks for it. Like, again, this is a unwinnable situation. He just wants Nintendo to do the right thing that he deems is right. Like, come on.
Value to the console this time. So these are three big problems. Charging for the same games twice.
I don't think these are like three big problems. I mean, the price and the game card, the storage are like the game price. Okay, okay, that is a problem. Okay, I changed my mind. That is a problem. How big it is, I feel would be more subjective, because I don't think people are gonna care that much. Like, it sucks, but like, I feel these are just things that people are just gonna like get over and just be like, yeah, that sucks. Okay, whatever. I think the game price in general is probably gonna be what people are gonna be more like upset about, but whatever. The storage, I think, is not a real issue, because nobody's gonna be concerned with upgrading their storage year one of a console, of what they own. I think this is something that's gonna come down the line where you get more games, but right now you can like put that off later, and by the time that you're in the market for one, there could be a sale. So it's like, I don't think that's a real issue. And the third one is petty. The third one is just an issue from him.
Just to have them run slightly better is absolutely ridiculous and nickel and diming the customer. Requiring a almost proprietary, faster EX version of a memory card to have storage that's ridiculously expensive is ridiculous.
He did say semi-proprietary, but it's like only proprietary in the sense that it only works for Switch 2 and all that. But these cards can be made by any other company, and a lot of these companies do not bend to the whim of Nintendo. I mean, some might, like if they make a Nintendo partnership or whatever card, like, oh, we have a card that has a mushroom on it, a star, whatever. But they could also make just a normal one for people who have cameras, and you can just buy that and use that. I mean, come on.
Ridiculous and anti-consumer. And the fact that they have given up on innovation is kind of sad. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, the best way that I can actually compare...
I will say, I thought he was going to go with GE. Every time this dude talks about Nintendo business or whatever, he always goes to GE. I was like, it's GE, but he doesn't do that.
Nintendo right now, like the most close comparison I can think about is that Nintendo in the gaming business has essentially become the same as Apple in the tech business. Because Apple...
I mean... I guess I could see that, because their phones are kind of like stagnating in features, and all these features they have now, they've been in other phones for years. I get that, but I also just feel like, you know, a lot of these features, at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know. I mean, even right now, when you look at Droid, like, all they have different now at this point is one is still open source, one is still a closed source environment. But I would argue not a lot of Apple people like. I'm not like opening my phone like, oh, I can't download this other app that's on Droid. Damn it! Like I'm not thinking that because I don't need it right now or whatever. The only thing I think is kind of cool that Apple hasn't done is like that flip phone, that the folding phone, but that's also not a huge deal. But the MagSafe technology they have is pretty cool. I like that technology. I mean, there's stuff that they do is interesting, but all the stuff that I like about Apple is in a closed ecosystem of other Apple products. So it's like, you know, it's very specific at this point. Like, especially with Apple, like the stuff that Apple is doing is kind of more towards Apple users, and that's who they're marketing their products to more than like the common person or whatever. But I also think just in nature, like naturally with tech, I don't think tech is that innovative as much anymore. Like because even the folding screen has been tech that was like what 10 years. Like I feel I saw this like that tech like when I was in college. Like oh, this Chinese company made a phone that can flip around and all this other stuff. That the whole screen can bend, and it's like oh that's cool. And I didn't see a lot of phones do it, and I think like Samsung made it more popular now. But it's like I've seen that technology before, but like this isn't so there's not massive innovation. I think all Apple does now, specifically for their phones, is camera stuff, which is kind of funny in my opinion, but kind of cool. I mean, I'll be honest, it's kind of cool that the cameras are that good, but it's also kind of funny that like you're getting a good camera with a phone at this point. I mean, there are movies that are filmed on iPhone. So I mean, you get a decent camera, but like this chase of innovation, like it's always gonna run out because, I mean, you're not gonna. What else can you develop? Where else can a phone go? What more do you want a phone to do?
Apple used to be the most innovative company. All of their gadgets and gizmos looked unique.
Gizmos.
They had unique stylized
How are they unique? I mean, honestly, I didn't think the iPod was that unique. It's just a rectangle with a screen on it. Like I just liked it because I could listen to my music anywhere. Like that was the only thing I cared about my iPod. Like, oh, I gotta listen to my music. I can go to school and like if I'm done with an exam, I'll just pop in my iPod and listen to whatever. Like that's all it was. I didn't sit there and like, oh wow, the iPod has a click wheel or anything like that. Like I don't think their designs are that neat. I mean their computers are cool. I like the old iMacs. I thought that was pretty cool and all that kind of stuff. But like, I mean, yeah, I could get that even now with their iMacs. I mean, their iMacs still look kind of cool now, but whatever. I mean, these are all subjective points. But I, so I don't know what he means that they all used to look cool. I mean, they don't look cool now. I mean, their iMacs are colorful now. You get different colors of iMacs, so that's cool. They went back to that, which is like a breath of fresh air after they were like doing silver for the longest fucking time.
things, operating system that worked different from everyone else's, features that no one else had,
It's
and
all
that's why you
differently.
would buy.
There are some features that they have that nobody else has. Like, but these are like minute changes. Like, it, like these are things that nobody's gonna care about except for like Apple heads.
The iPod, the iPhone, the iPad. But what happened with Apple was after about 15 plus years dominating the tech industry, they lost their way. They stopped innovating.
I don't know. I feel like they innovated with their iPad. I mean, because before they had a button, like they got rid of that, so they have a bigger screen now, which is great for like doing art on it. Like it's a better tablet now to do art than it was like years ago. I mean, even like the iMac Pro M2 chip was really good. Even the M1 chip was a good upgrade to do art on. The first generation of iPad Pro was like decent, but you could tell no program was like optimized for that very well. But now it's like okay, now you can actually use art on these tablets. As before, like it just wasn't a thing. And I feel like that even the iPad was kind of meandering for a bit, and now they have an actual point, and they can actually be a decent laptop at this point. I mean, you're not gonna be gaming on it, but it's like better than what it was, and it's a good option at this point. Like it, I would even go as far as to say that it could technically be a decent entry point to do art on, like a good entry point tablet. Because the tablet market for art tablets are like crazy expensive because it's a whole display. It has like innards of like a PC and all this other stuff. Like they're crazy optimized, and the iPad I think is like decent to get in with that. And then if you are successful, you can get a bigger like tablet and go from there. Like the iPad is still pretty good for that. So there is other innovations and other uses for Apple products and all this other stuff. Like it's like the tech industry has gotten more and more like about what you're looking for in devices than what's unique about these devices. Like you look at Xbox and PlayStation, it's no longer like which one's more unique. It's like which one do you prefer? Like what speaks to you more? And I think that's gonna happen with Nintendo. Like people are not gonna buy Nintendo consoles for the uniqueness, and it's gonna just boil down to: do I want to play Nintendo games? Do I want to do this? Do I need to do that? Like it's not gonna be, oh, it has gimmicks, I gotta buy it now. Like it's not gonna be that.
The things you can get in an Apple product today are exactly the same as what you can get in anyone else's product, but they're way more expensive, and they have proprietary
It's gonna get more
cables,
expensive now,
gizmos,
man.
and things for it that
The
are
proprietary cables is no longer true. They're using USB-C now. They finally caught up to the rest of the world and decided, yes, our lightning cables suck now because we have to admit it and have to use USB-C. They had to eat it. Their phones all use USB-C now. I think there's maybe only one device they make that still supports lightning. I think only one device. Barely even, because I think that may not even be true anymore. Like, they have used USB-C, and there's no other proprietary stuff that they use. Like, I mean, I guess technically you'd say the OS, because you have to download like specific applications to run on that hardware now because they're using like Apple Silicon and all that other shit. But it's like, I mean, they're making OBS for it. There's even like an app in Apple that can transition an Intel based app into an Apple Silicon app. So there's like ways around these issues. Like
that are all way overpriced. That's exactly what is happening with Nintendo right now. They're not giving you any added value to the Switch 2 because it's not innovative anymore. But they're saying, hey, pay more for the same game. Hey, pay more for the storage and memory card.
But these are
Will
be
the
the same
industry
price
carry it?
regardless.
Yes, because Nintendo has a following, a cult-like following of people.
I always love that it's always a cult-like following. Like, there are people willing to buy stuff that they like. Like, and I think it's kind of dumb to say this when you could say literally that about anything ever. Oh, there's a cult-like following that follows GSP that will give him money for anything. Like, you can literally say that. There are people who will buy stuff that they want, that they like. Like, I bought Guilty Gear, like, 3 times. Because I bought it on PlayStation, I bought it on Steam Deck, and then I bought it again on the Switch. So, because I like the game, and I bought it 3 times. I bought Revelator, like, 2 times. So, like, these things just happen. Like, people will buy stuff. People will buy Nintendo products, but he thinks that, like, oh, they'll buy this, they'll eat these prices because they're cult and they're stupid. But, like, there are people that are willing to pay whatever to get what they want. Like, some people just want the hardware. They may buy the hardware, then they may hack it and, modify it, whatever, and not buy the actual games, or they'll just eat the price. Like, it's not a cult-like following. Like, I guess to a degree, sure, there might be people who buy it just out of like, oh, I need to support this, but it's like not that big of a margin. Like, people just want to buy Nintendo because they like Nintendo, they know what they're gonna get. Like, yeah, I'm buying a Switch 2 because I know what I'm getting at the end. I mean, I may not buy it launch day, but I will buy it eventually. Someday I'll own a Switch 2, but it may not be like this year, maybe next year, maybe the year after that. Who knows when I'll get one? But it's like, yeah, I wouldn't mind owning one, but I'm probably gonna wait probably until they have a better battery or an OLED screen, maybe. Like, these are just things that happen, but there will always be people who buy it day one because they want to play day one.
People who will follow them like the Pied Piper. Miyamoto pulls out his giant ocarina and
No,
starts
the Kirby
playing,
Automaton.
and everyone says, "Yes, Miyamoto-san, I must buy your amiibos."
This is like really stupid. Again, I said this again. Like, just because they buy something doesn't mean that they're doing it like without understanding what they're buying. Like, what are they gonna do? Because again, he acts as if nobody buys it, they're gonna just release it with a smaller price, with a smaller price or whatever. They're not gonna do that. If anything, they may double the price to make up for the units that they're not selling, or they'll just like find another answer that may be worse. Like, they may say, "Oh, we should do the live service game. Let's double down on mobile games." Like, this isn't like a solution. Like, as he thinks it is. Like, yeah, you would love it if, like, hey, I didn't buy this thing, then the next game that this company makes or next hardware is gonna actually be an improvement. But at the same time, that may not even happen. You don't know what they're gonna learn from the bad sales. They may learn the wrong lesson. Like, Resident Evil 6 sold a lot, which made them do Resident Evil 7, but they were also receptive in wanting to change what Resident Evil would be. But at the same time, if Resident Evil 6 did not sell, Capcom could say, well, I guess nobody cares for Resident Evil, so let's just not make Resident Evil anymore. Like, there's always an option that they'll learn the wrong lesson. Like, so this answer to just not buy something is not realistic. He could be, like, sure, he could argue, well, I'm just trying to tell people that they should be more thoughtful when they make their purchase, and that's fine. But we don't need this, like, people who buy this are brainwashed and they're stupid. Like, I mean, even with these tariffs, if it's gonna affect negatively to the Switch, there will be people who are gonna buy it regardless. And there might be people or more people that say, I'm gonna wait, or I'm not gonna buy it, or whatever. Like, these are options that anyone can make on their own. And it's kind of like a waste of time to, like, value someone's decision over that because it's their decision. But to sit there and say that, well, they're gonna buy me, they want to blindly support Nintendo. Like, people bought amiibos because they like the amiibos, and half the time, a lot of the amiibos are characters that would have never made a figure. Like, figures are expensive. No figure company is gonna, like, take the time to make a figure of a character that nobody cares about. But since amiibos are cheaper, there's a higher probability that they're gonna make an amiibo figure of a character that would have not made a figure anyway. Or if they were to be made a figure, it would be like, oh right, we're gonna make a figure of Pyra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, $200, and she's in a bunny suit. Or you could buy the amiibo of Pyra, and it's like, oh, it's like, I think it was like 50 because you had to buy it with Mithra and Pyra, but it's still like cheaper than buying like a Figma statue or whatever of these things, right? Correct?
I must buy your overpriced controller that doesn't even work, like the Pro controller, which was never actually fixed, and your drifting Joy-Cons. We must spend.
I never had an issue with the Pro controller. Like, I've heard a few people say they did actually. Like, I thought it was a DSP thing, but I've heard like someone else have issues with the Pro controller, but I never did. Like, maybe the D-pad, but at the same time, like, I'm not playing fighting games on the Switch, and so I don't know if maybe that's what's going on. Like, he matched the D-pad so much that it fucked it up, but I never had an issue with my Pro controller. I never even had the Joy-Con stick drift. I never had that. Like, I don't have that many Joy-Cons. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's like just maybe I haven't played my Switch a lot. I don't know. I don't know what triggers the Joy-Con drift. Because at first I thought it was just like it's gonna happen to everyone because it's a built-in defect or whatever. But it's like I never had that. I mean, maybe if I use it more over time, it would happen. But I never had that issue. I never had issues with my Pro controller. I have like 3, and 2 of them were like cool limited edition controllers. Like, one was like a Splatoon color, and then I got the Zelda one. So like I didn't have any other issues with the Pro Controller. I still have the launch one. But whatever.
Spend on Nintendo because we are part of the cult of Nintendo. People will line up
The
in
cult
droves
of
to buy the accessories and
Nintendo.
the games. They will
Sorry, I just had to take care of business anyway. Let's go back to bullshit. Damn it.
pre-order the crap out of this console. This will be a sales dynamo in 2025. But we're
Oh, I
not here
bet.
to talk about sales success. We're here to talk about value. We're here to talk about
But
game.
isn't value in the eye of the beholder? Because anyone can argue that they find value in just about anything if they want it, right? So people can argue, yeah, I think the amount to pay for this is worth the value because I like it, or whatever. Like, this dude buys a lot of dumb shit and says that he has value in it. Like, what's the value of that mic sign? We see a mic there. Why do we need all these reminders of microphones? What value does that little thing add? What value does the little Pac-Man light add? Not a lot. What do all these RGBs add? What's the value of these RGBs? Why buy them? Why have them? Why have everything have RGBs? But he finds value in that, correct?
Games. We're here to talk about quality for the gamer and the consumer. From everything that I just saw, I saw some innovative stuff when it comes to the games.
So they are innovating. There's no innovation, but there's innovative in the games. So, okay, okay. As I said, when you look back at the GameCube was not an innovative console, but it had like interesting games, and the games were what were innovative. But now he's saying that the console is not innovative, but they're innovating with their games. So that's the innovation within their games. That's like what Nintendo is known for, is their games are being innovative. That's, if anything, that's what they're known for the most, is the innovation being with the games, not the hardware necessarily. Like the Wii was the only console that was truly like innovative in a way compared to their other consoles. Like their other consoles are just consoles. That was the only one that was innovative, then the Wii U, I guess, and then like the Switch. But they were mostly innovative with their games, and he's like acting as if like this is like not a thing to talk about. But okay.
Mario Kart Tour looks really good. Donkey Kong Bonanza looks really good. And that's a good thing. I think what Nintendo really excels at is making great first party games that innovate. That's what they need to
Yeah.
focus on and continue to do.
That's
for
what
every
they're doing though. Like that what is this innovation argument already is a meaningless argument. He made it meaningless and like nonsense because he said that there's no innovation in the console. That's a problem. They're innovating with their games. Yeah, okay. And then he says that they need to focus on that. That's what they're doing. They're making innovative games. I guess what he might be saying is that if they're only innovating with their games, I guess this is what the argument would extend to, would be that why make a new console when you could just make these innovative games on the current Switch? But but the Switch 2 has better hardware, so they can do maybe more innovative stuff with the Switch 2's hardware than they could with the Switch 1 hardware. So there's like these gaps of logic with this argument about innovation. Because at the end of the day, as everyone already knew what he was going to do, is find something to bitch about with Nintendo. There's not been a single thing that Nintendo has done where DSP was actually bouncing for. Every time they put something out, he would always find something to bitch about. Always. Like, he literally complained when they released games on Fridays. Like, he treats Nintendo the same way treats Rich from Review Tech USA. All the time. When they do it, it's bad and awful. But when other people do it, that's great because he shat on them releasing like Star Fox Zero on a Friday. But when Sony and all these other companies started doing Friday releases, he loved it. He hated Nintendo for doing Nintendo Directs. Now, every company does a Direct. It's amazing. It's the future. Fuck IRL events. everything that DSP has shot on Nintendo, he praised others for doing. So like when the Switch 2 was announced and had good hardware, I knew he was gonna bitch about it. Because again, even if it wasn't a hybrid console, you're telling me that it would not be that same price? No, it would probably be maybe be $50 less. Maybe. But it would still be expensive, regardless. Or if they do a dedicated home console and they try to like catch up with everyone else, it would still be expensive. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter with this argument about the hardware and the price of the hardware and this and that, because it's the same thing. The only thing that may be different is the hardware may have a different situation going on, but regardless, you're still paying the same amount for like expanding your hard drive for your current consoles as it is. Like the only cheap option would be a PC technically.
For everything else, this just looks like a whole lot of noise, not a lot of substance. When we get this console on June 5th, what are we going to play? Mario Kart World. What are we going to play after that? Games
Well,
with
look how Lily talked about these other games that are coming out. I mean, there's other games coming out, like, but I guess you could argue that these are re-releases and like they're not big games. But okay, but if you look at every launch, I mean, there's a few consoles that have good launches, like the PS2, sure, but I think to some degree, when prices are like $60 now, they're even more. You're gonna get one game. So you're gonna want to get one good solid game, and Mario Kart's probably gonna be that game for people. But whatever.
we've already played until DK Bonanza comes out. And then what are we going to play after that? Nothing. Until
Didn't Nintendo say that they were gonna like sprinkle out like PS2 games, Switch 2 games like over the year? Like they're not gonna announce all their games for the entire year right now. Like they're gonna like do another drug like in August or whatever. Now it's more games coming out later on. Like, but again, this is also a brand new console. Like, how many games are gonna come out? Like, he says about the Switch 2, but he didn't say this much about the PS5. Same with the Series X. Like, consoles have been bleak with games anyway. I mean, how many people really, realistically, like the average consumer, how many of them buy day one? Like, there's always gonna be a lot of people buy day one, sure, but how many of that is like people like DSP and people like normal average people that are gonna buy them eventually? Like even people who have kids, they're probably not buying that day one. They probably are trying, obviously, but they could also arguably wait too. Like, okay.
till maybe Donkey Kong, or excuse me, Metroid Prime 4 comes out. And then it's like, and what's going to happen, what it seems like, it's going to be just like the Switch. You're going to have times where there's going to be a bunch of games coming out, and they're going to be absolutely
This dude, he really talks like an idiot. Oh man, wait, he is one. Oh. This dude acts as if he just discovered that, wow, some years, sometimes you may get a lot of games and others you may not. Wow, shock. This has never happened ever in the history of games, right? Usually, every day there's always a AAA banger. Now, not so much, huh?
amazing. Oh, we're eating good. We're eating a plate.
And then, but this dude within bitch, there's too many games. It's gonna cannibalize each other. Oh my god! But now I was saying that there's all these lulls in fucking gaming. He just bitched about fucking RPG overload, and now he's like, "Where are the games? Where are my personas?" But it's like, didn't you just bitch about a lot of games coming out and you're not being able to play all of them, and that's terrible? And now it's like, these games are spaced out. Oh, they're too spaced out. What it is he's panicking that there's no like a roadmap of game releases, so he can fill out his fucking fetish of, oh, schedule. Oh my god, guys, in July we got Dog Young, and then oh my god, in August we got this, and then in October we're gonna be doing this, then in December we got this, guys. We got games. Oh my god, that's all he wants. He has this dude has some kind of fetish for scheduling. He loves scheduling. He wants dude, I bet you it's killing him inside that he can't do a gaming schedule for his fucking birthday. I bet that's what he was hoping for the most. He was hoping that that direct was gonna have all these game releases. And like, guys, so the Switch 2 came out, and since my birthday's coming, I'm thinking we do a gaming schedule update. Yes! But since that didn't happen, he can't do it, and it blue balled him. He's so mad he can't talk on end about fucking his fucking schedule. I mean, to put into perspective, I think people would be much more hyped to listen to me ramble on about bullshit politics and nonsense than to listen to this guy talk about what he's gonna eat for dinner and what game is coming out in August. What's he gonna play? Like, that's where it's at. And when you get to that point, you should just end your channel.
Plenty. It's like a buffet of great Nintendo content. And then you're going to have entire 6 to 8 month spans with nothing. Just a couple third-party games, ports, and nothing else.
Yeah, I love that he like shits
Nintendo-
on third-party games and only indie games, if you think about it. He's shitting on all these other things, but it's like these are the other games that they have in their library. He's only complaining. There's no other Nintendo game. He wants Nintendo to be just a factory of just pumping out game after game after game instead of just like, I don't know, taking their time with a game. Didn't he also bitch about Pokemon not having enough time to make their games, and now he's complaining that they need to make more games? And then he's like, "No, I didn't say that. I'm saying like they should have like right, like, you know, a pacing. They should pace it out so they're always releasing games." But it's like, in order for them to do that, they have to put like you can't just do that. Like, there's a lot of reasons and things that it just it wouldn't work out in the long run when you try to finance like perpetual thing. Like, again, like, look at Invincible. They announced that they want to make this Invincible more regular. I think I think they said that they didn't confirm that they're doing it, but they're aiming to do like every year there's a new season or something. Like, that's like the minimum that they want or whatever. That's what they're aiming for, and or whatever. They just want something that's more regular. And I'm sitting there like, you know, they're gonna either have to hire more animators or they're gonna really crunch the current animators to paste. And that's not gonna be like, I can't see that being like viable. Like, after a while, either there's gonna be just people are just quitting, or the quality's gonna just dip off a cliff. Like, that's what's gonna happen when you want like things to be more regular. Like, you're gonna crunch more. And this dude, as I said, he loves to pretend he cares about crunch culture, but it's like, if he truly cares, he would understand just saying out loud they need to pump out more games is gonna lead to more crunch culture. Like, I don't mind waiting for games if I have other games to play, which I have. That's why I have a backlog. Like, whatever.
Nintendo needs to get on the ball and stop being so up their own butts. They literally think they're better than everyone else.
Dude, this is like really like Nintendo gave him a Christmas event, if you think about it, because this Nintendo Direct had a lot of people kind of criticizing the Switch 2 and being apprehensive and this that. And instead of being like 100% like the internet was like sucking Nintendo's dick, they're on their knees for this thing. There has at least been more like, I don't know about this, man. You know, whatever, that DSP can finally do just shit on Nintendo, and everyone will be like, Phil is right. Because he is technically right, but it's just in the way he's right, he's wrong. Because the shit he's bitching about is shit he bitched about Nintendo not doing. And he's bitching out of ignorance because, like, people can understand why these cards are expensive and all this other stuff, but he's bitching about like nonsense about this. But like the games being like the price, like, I just think it's weird that we have this disparity in game prices. Like, what is going on with that? Some games are 70, some games are 80, some games are 90, and it's like, what is making these prices fluctuate that much as it is? Like, again, like I did get a little political at the beginning. We're gonna go semi-political again because I'm gonna bring up tariffs. So everyone get hyped, I guess. But before even like what happened now to as of today, I do agree that these prices I don't think are in result of the tariffs. Because if they were, then Nintendo would not have delayed the pre-orders of the Switch 2 in the US. Like that would not have happened. But these prices were probably prices that Nintendo were gonna do regardless. I do think that. I mean, maybe there was some influence by the tariffs, but I think a lot of these were just prices that Nintendo were gonna do anyway. But like, so to go off with that these are prices that Nintendo set up. What is the reason? Like, why is Donkey Kong Bonanza 70, but Mario Kart's 80, but then this other game is 70, but then Mario Kart's also like physical 90? Like, will Donkey Kong Bonanza be 90 physical too? Are all physical games 90? Because then why does Donkey Kong get like a $20 bump physical? And with Mario Kart, it's like a $10 bump. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It like it doesn't like make sense to me, and it's like, what is the rhyme or reason? And this is like, and that's something that DSP's not even talking about. He's just talking about like, I think he talks about it in part in like April 3rd's podcast, but like that was the thing that was bugging me. It's like, hey, if the game was like $80 across the board, sure, that's a lot of money, but it's like, hey, at least it's like I can understand that it's all these games are gonna be like 80 and maybe third party's gonna be 60 or whatever. But it's like, no. These two Nintendo games are three different prices, and there you go. It's like, why? Why is like what's Mario Kart doing that Donkey Kong isn't? Like, is it because it's multiplayer? I don't know. So like that's what I don't understand, and I don't know if that's gonna reflect with other games. Like, is there like a thing that like is it just because of multiplayer? So like if Metroid Prime 4 comes out, is that not gonna be 70? Is that gonna be 70? Is that gonna be 80? Is that gonna be 60? Like I don't know. But if it gets multiplayer, does that make it for sure $80? Like so there's all these things that I don't understand about these prices. And that's like before the tariff nonsense. But okay.
Everyone else and what their crap doesn't stink. That's not true anymore. If anything, they're proving it with the fact that they're showing they need to compete. We need 4K, we need 60 frames, we need the features everyone else has. Great. But now you
Great.
actually have to be competitive as well with pricing and everything else. You can't expect us to drop $200 on a memory card at launch. You can't expect us to play one game and sit around for 4 months before your next comes out. That's an exclusive.
Your next
You need
comes
to get on the
out.
ball. Will Nintendo do it? We'll find out. But man, those are three pretty critical flaws
How
for
will
the
we
launch of a new
find
console
out?
in 2025.
I mean, the console's not even a year
All
old.
right, folks.
It's
Holy
like
crap.
it's like
That took
having a baby and then be like, this baby is not gonna get a job. This baby's a failure. Like the baby just got a diaper, dude. You just put a diaper on him. Come on.
long time to get through, didn't it?
All right. I'm not gonna listen to the rest of this. I don't know if there's any other gold dust. We are gonna move on to the second part. Ah, yes.
Let's talk pricing, because this was some of the stuff that people were questioning yesterday. By the way, what's up, Jade? How you doing? What's up, Yak Almighty? So
Hey, Jade, what up?
here's some of the stuff that's been now revealed.
All
The
right.
pricing is now being released. So for the record, this is Walmart pricing. This is going to be the price
These
of
prices, by the way, are just for the games themselves. Like, he's not gonna really acknowledge the upgrade fee because I don't think they have yet to like announce the upgrade fee. So he's acting as if like the prices for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom reflect the upgrade fee, but that's not true unless like you're buying those games directly. Which, dude, this is insane to me. Like I can like there's always a Nintendo tax. Nintendo will always like take like never like lower their prices. But Breath of the Wild is insane. I can kind of give Tears of the Kingdom because what Tears of the Kingdom came out like what last year? No, the year before that I think. Whatever. But I can't. But it was like a semi recent release. I mean, it's more recent than fucking Breath of the Wild. To have them be equivalent prices like that. Wait, is it equivalent? No, it's 80 for Tears of the Kingdom. But that's still like that's only $10. That's like stupid. It's still a stupid price.
Price of games at Walmart. All right. I wish I could blow this up, but X sucks. And I don't really have a way to blow up
Oh my
the
god.
picture unless I save it,
dude.
which I'm not going to do.
Yeah, because
So
it may have
Kirby and the
malware, dude.
Forgotten Land. That's right. The game that already has been out for the Switch for what, like 3+ years? $79.99.
Yeah, that's kind of wild.
$80
You
for a
think
Kirby game that's old.
It does have a new story edition, but I mean, it's not gonna be like that much, right? It's not gonna be a full game.
Street Fighter 6, year 1 and 2 Fighters Edition, meaning you're going to get all of the season pass content. So the 4 DLC characters from season 1 and the 4 DLC characters from season 2. $59.99.
That's not bad. Because that is like a standard price for Street Fighter 6 anyway. Like, I don't think that's a bad price. $60 for like 2 seasons. That's not bad. Because the season pass is what, like 20. Well, I guess it would be 60 for all, like, for the base game and the 2 season passes. So like that makes it as if it's 20 each. Base game $20, season 1 $20, season 2 $20. But I think the season pass might be a little bit more than that, but whatever. But it's also
Mario
an
Kart
old game.
World, $79.99. Zelda Breath of the Wild. I want to repeat what I just said. Zelda Breath of the Wild. Not Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom 2-pack. Just Breath of the Wild on the Switch 2. $69.99. Folks,
Nintendo,
Breath
like,
of the Wild
double pack
is
that?
7 years old.
Yeah, that is kind of wild.
7 years.
But it's Nintendo. I mean, I was not expecting any less.
I take that back. It's actually 8 years old. I miscalculated. It's 8 years old. And it's $70 on the Switch. Switch 2, excuse me.
Yes.
Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster.
It's a DS
40.
game, by the way.
Now, Bravely Default is also quite old. This is being an HD remaster. So finally, it's like a reasonable price, I would say, for a game. Donkey Kong Bonanza, $69.99.
Okay.
Super Mario Party
You realize that there's also
Jamboree,
PS5 games that are
$79.99.
that price too, right?
And The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, again, just Tears of the Kingdom, not a double pack Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom like it should be.
Okay.
Just Tears of the Kingdom, $79.99.
Wow.
These prices are bonkers. I can't believe they have
But
the
you can also buy these games pre-owned. Like, you don't have to buy them new. You know that, right? You can buy them pre-owned. You could. I mean, it's a. See, this is the beautiful part of a game card. It's hard. Like, you can't, like, if they break the card, like if they smash it in half, they can't return it. So it has to be in one piece. Like, and it has to work, right? So you don't have to worry about, like, oh, a dude, like, scratch it in a silly way. Oh, there's gunk on the card. Like, you don't have to worry about that because it's a game card, right? Whatever.
balls to try to sell 2 old Zelda
You
games
always buy them
for
pre-owned.
premium prices as if they're brand new. And then on top of that, the fact that we already bought and played these games on the Switch and they ran like shit. They did. Even, remember Tears of the Kingdom? How the frame rate would dip and chunk along as parts. It's like, what the?
Chunk
And we already
along.
bought it. Now you expect us to buy it again as if it's a brand new premium
like,
game. $80?
You
Are you insane?
You see? Yeah, but Phil, okay, Phil, okay. You could spend $50 a year for the expansion pass, and you get that with the subscription. So you don't have to spend $79.99. You could just spend $50. Isn't that the beautiful aspect of the Nintendo subscription service? The I mean, it's still dumb, sure, but again, we don't know how much the upgrade by itself will cost. Like, these are just standalone games that we're looking at.
Let's continue. So there's a few others. This is why I had this one, because there's a few others on here. I don't know what Eldrador Creature Shadowfall is. I do know that Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Do you remember how old that game is? Dragon Ball Z Kakarot?
Yeah, but
Didn't I play that like 4
they
or
added
5
stuff
years
to it
ago?
though, because it looks like they added the Daima
Well,
shit.
it's $50. So, it's not that bad, I guess. But the thing is, these games are regular Switch games that apparently will play on the Switch too. But they don't. I mean,
Oh, you
they're
know what?
older Switch games. That's why they're the
Well,
regular
maybe
price.
they'll talk about it in this game.
Every
in
other
this
Switch game
game.
is just being absolutely ridiculous with the prices.
Yeah, because they're Nintendo
Okay.
games. I mean, come on, dog. It's
So here we go.
Nintendo.
Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition will be a launch title on June 5th. $69.99. The game will be distributed on a 64 gigabyte game card. This does contain both the game and the expansion, and no additional download will be required.
For 64
However,
gigs, I think
if
that's
you
pretty
don't
good,
want to
but
buy the
whatever.
game card and you want to get it digitally, it's 64 gigs. Now, what was I saying yesterday about the storage space on the Switch 2? The storage space
But
on Switch 2 is only 200.
The thing is, I think they even like said, someone debunked this, I think. But again, if you read the language, it says the game will be distributed on a 64 gigabyte game card. Like that doesn't necessarily mean that's the size of the game. It's just saying the card is that much. But it's whatever. I don't know how much it is
256
actually.
gigs, but remember, anywhere
Because at
from
the end
like
of the day, I don't
20
give
to
a fuck
50
about
of those
Cyberpunk.
gigs
I
are going to
didn't
be
pay attention
used
to that.
for the operating system, for other apps, and things like that. So you probably only have about 200 gigs of storage on your Switch 2. If you get Cyberpunk and you don't buy the physical edition, you've already taken up 1/3 of the storage space on your Switch 2 with one game.
What about the PS5?
So
How
it
many gigs can you
seems
store on
everything that I
that?
was speculating yesterday is true. I was right on the money. This thing is going to fill up within 2-3 games. You're going to have no space for anything. Okay? Keep in mind, you also got to save your games. They got to go somewhere.
Save files
right?
aren't that expensive. Save files expensive. That big, though. I mean, come on. Think about it.
Continuing on. This is wild to me.
Oh,
this
no,
I still
amiibos.
can't
Dun, dun,
believe
dun.
is a thing. So they announced
Where's the Minot
Street
figure?
Fighter
They only do
6
Luke, Jamie, and
amiibos
fucking Kimberly. Kimberly's fine, but fucking where's
for
Minot?
a premium price.
I just want Minot. Where's Minot? Where is she? Why haven't we seen Minot yet? If she's a fucking amiibo card, fuck Capcom. Fuck them. I want a Minot fig, or I riot. Fucking piece of shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Street Fighter 6 amiibos cost $29.99.
Okay. Do you know how much a figure
What
costs?
is going on?
Like how much do you think the Kimberly figure would cost? If it was an actual figure, not an amiibo. Probably a lot. Probably like Papa Braid had one, and that was like I'm sure that could be like $50, but there could be one that's like $200. Put her in a bunny outfit. There you go. There you go.
Just think of it this way. If
Think
you
about it this
buy
way.
Street Fighter 6, it's $60 on the Switch too. If you
Okay.
want to get all 3 Street Fighter 6 amiibos of Jamie, Luke, and Kimberly, it costs more
Okay.
than the game.
Yeah, because these are physical objects that have also like technology in them. But also at the same time, who cares? Like these are optional things. Like these are purely optional. They don't give you any like massive boost. And again, these are like whatever prices. You could say maybe they could be, because I do think like what kind of chip are they using for the amiibo for Switch 2? Like, is it any different than the fucking Switch 1? I don't think so. So it's like, why are they a little bit more expensive? Like before they were like 20. To jump all the way to 30, it's like, what did they add? Like, what technology is so different? What is so different about these? Maybe they come with a card. Maybe. Because it's only the Street Fighter 6 amiibos. But I don't know if the Zelda ones are like reprints of this of a Switch one, or these are brand new.
Now, what do you think those amiibos are going to do? This is a competitive fighting game. They're not going to give you a competitive edge. Maybe they'll give you some exclusive content if you're playing the campaign mode. And by the way, the campaign mode is not very good.
But look at this. Watch, right? If these had meaningful content, he'd hate this even more.
Oh my god, so like everyone loves costumes, right? So they put all the costumes in the amiibo. So instead of like selling the costume for like $10, they put it in an amiibo that's like $30. And then like you have to like scan it every time. It's fucking stupid, man.
So, do we really want amiibos to have more of a purpose? Like, I think they work better just as an optional thing that you can live without. Then let's make them more serious and important. That way you'll want to pay more money. Like, this is not a good argument because it'll lead to a very dangerous place.
Good,
Like
because it
Skylanders.
becomes a grind fest when you're near the end and it pisses you off. I know because I almost beat it myself and then I quit it at the end when it just didn't make sense to keep playing it. So, why on earth would you spend $30 for an
What if
amiibo
I want an amiibo
in
of
2025? This isn't even the Wii U era when Nintendo was floundering and they weren't.
This shit about the amiibo and the Wii U era is insane. It's insane assumptions that everyone decided, yes, we shall buy amiibos to save Nintendo. Nobody did that. People thought they were cool and wanted to collect them or whatever. Like, people buy stuff all the time. Like, come on.
They weren't selling anything and they needed our help. And so the Nintendo fanboy.
This dude literally acted as if like, oh, maybe Iwata was around that time before he passed away, but whatever. Nintendo like did a direct, guys. Welcome to the Nintendo Direct. I wanted this direct to be positive and fun. I wanted to show you guys the new Zelda, but the Wii U just flopped, guys. And now, guys, we're gonna sell amiibos. We need you to buy in. Buy into the amiibo, guys. We need you to buy in. We need you to buy in. Come on. But no, that didn't happen. Because, like, they made up for it because Iwata, like, took a pay cut because he wanted to put that, his money that he was gonna get, and he gave it back to the other employees, whatever. So he took a pay cut for that. And yeah, people bought the amiibos because, guess what was also big during that time? Skylanders. But guess which stood the test of time? You're not gonna believe it. The fucking Nintendo property. Wow. But it's like, the reason why these worked was because it wasn't a intrusive feature that you needed to do to play a game, and they were cheaply made. That's why the figures look, low quality almost, because they're cheap. But it's like, he's sitting there acting like, oh my god, guys, Nintendo did these amiibos to like save face and save their business. Like, that didn't happen at all.
Fanboys ran out and said, "Don't worry, we'll white knight you, Nintendo. We'll go buy every amiibo that's ever been released, and this
Again,
will
this is more projection because that's what DSP does. Guys, I need you to buy in. If you don't buy in, I may not continue to play this game. Guys, buy in, both in support and in watching me and in engaging. Do these things and you can get Disco Elysium to continue. Guys, please buy in. Guys, I need your buy-in." And then guess what the DSP fans do? Yes, DSP. Yes, Phil. I shall buy in. I shall give you my money. I shall tune in and talk. That's what he does. The more he has complained about Nintendo, the more and more he goes on these little projection rants.
finance the failure of the Wii U till you can actually pump out the Switch. I just don't understand. And you know what? People are going to buy these. People will absolutely buy these amiibos
Okay.
for $30 each. even though it's a tiny little
Why do you-
plastic figurine with no added value whatsoever. They're
It
going,
has more value than actual figures. The value he's talking about is like a collectible value. Like, oh, you can resell these later, which is kind of still not technically true because there are amiibos that are out of print that can go up in price. Some of them, very 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 specific amiibos, but it's like, but it still has a more technical value because games will have amiibo support and you can always use all of them. Like, I used a lot of these amiibos I had to grind money in Zelda, which worked out for me.
they're going to do it. I just, I don't get it.
I don't
I
get
don't
it, man.
understand. I'm lost. I'm confused.
Every time it says I'm lost, I'm confused, I always autofill I'm scared. Every time. I don't understand it. I'm confused. I'm scared. I'm scared of these amiibos, guys.
What is this whole Nintendo mentality in 2025?
What is this Nintendo mentality? Dude, it's not even that deep. Oh my god, this dude really acts as if like it's a serious cult. Like we're gonna be the new Waiko. There's gonna be like a Nintendo clubhouse somewhere, and shit's gonna go down, and then they're gonna blast like video game music. Not video game music because we love Nintendo music. They're gonna blast Microsoft music, Microsoft game music. Okay, we're gonna blast Gears of War music, and it's gonna blast it like loud. This shit's gonna go down. That he acts as if that's gonna happen.
Just yikes. And then lastly,
Okay, lastly.
there is a cool thing coming out called Welcome Tour for the Switch 2. People have had some hands-on experience with it today because, like I said, they actually have booths and events
See,
going
I'm
on.
surprised he's talking about this now. They talked about this in the direct where you had to buy the fucking welcome tour, which is so dumb. It is so dumb. You have to buy this thing, but honestly, I don't care because I wouldn't play it even if it was free. Like Astro Playroom, whatever the fuck, that came for free on the PlayStation 5. I have yet to play it. I don't care because I would much rather play an actual video game than like, oh, dude, look at these haptics. Wow, look at this. Isn't this cool? It's like, okay, I'd much rather be surprised by a game using it than like, oh, look at it. Look, we're gonna deliberately use this, and then when you play another game that doesn't use it, you're gonna be mad about it. You're gonna be
all
pissed
over
off
the
about
world
it.
right now where people are getting hands-on with the Switch 2. So what it is, it's a bunch of mini games. All right. For example, it has Super Mario Brothers World 1-1. You start playing it at the original 240 resolution, but as you play, the game keeps upgrading resolution until it goes to full 4K on your screen, which is pretty cool. Everyone's saying it's really nice. And there's different things that you
Okay.
can do with this. Okay, like there's different ways to play with it or whatever and have a good time with it. And someone even said there's a mode that's kind of like Mario Paint. And Nintendo hasn't done anything that's been like a Mario Paint style app for a
Why
very
would I
long
use
time.
Mario
So
Paint
people
when
who are
I
like
can just
longtime
draw?
fans of Nintendo's
Correct.
are having a really good time with this. Like, wow, this is amazing. So this would be great for them to pack in with the Switch 2, right? Looks like the demo. Wrong. This does not
Okay.
come with Switch 2.
Yeah,
Switch 2 comes with nothing.
He's like the Internet
You have to
Explorer of
buy
news.
this.
The
Now they're
Internet
saying in
Explorer of
Japan it's
news.
990 yen, but they haven't announced actual pricing anywhere else. How much
Okay.
do you want to bet they're going to mark this up? And this is going to be like $10 or more in the United States, and worldwide it'll probably be like $15. How much you want to bet?
Why would it be worldwide 15?
So again,
but
what
in
they're
the
thinking
US
is, hey,
would be 10. I don't
You
know,
buy the
whatever.
Switch, or Switch 2, excuse me.
But
It's
who
launch
cares?
day. Well,
Like,
what are you going to get?
Honestly, as much as like, yeah, it sucks that you have to pay for this. How many people really care? Like, I'm sure there's a percentage of people that will care. I'm not gonna sit there and say that nobody would care, but I mean, I don't think there's a lot of people that are gonna lose sleep over this one.
On that.
It's just
Well,
dumb.
let's think
It's
about
just a dumb decision.
Well, we're going to get Mario
That's
Kart.
all it
Literally
is.
everyone wants Mario Kart. Okay, so that's going to be day one purchase. Outside of that, what else are you going to do? Well, all that's left are third-party ports like Cyberpunk, right? Or games
Okay.
you've already played like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom.
Or
Or
I
you don't
can-
want to play that game again.
But I can also play games that are on the Switch that I didn't beat on the Switch too. Like, you realize that that's also an option, right? Though, It does have weird there's a compatibility list, and this is okay. This is something that I think this is bullshit. This is cope. This is cope what people are doing, and it's disgusting, and it needs to stop. There's a compatibility issue with Switch 2 and Switch 1 games, and I can't wrap my mind around this fucking bullshit. Everyone's like, well, it makes sense, guys. Like, the same thing with the Steam Deck. But the Steam Deck came out decades later. One. Two, the Steam has a library of games made for PC that was designed for a PC architecture, all this stuff, with keyboard and mouse, all these things. So, yeah, if you buy it on a Steam Deck, it's reasonable that a lot of games will not play properly because they didn't think in 2005, oh, they're gonna make a Steam Deck, guys. They're gonna do that. I mean, sure, you're going to use a controller, but again, like, you have quick access to a keyboard and mouse. So, whatever. The Steam Deck has tried to make ways to get around this. You can plug into a keyboard and mouse, but you need, like, adapters for that, or just plug directly in or whatever. But it's still, like, there's still issues with it. Like, I can't use the keyboard feature in fucking Chrono Trigger. It was a pain. I stopped naming characters because of that. A cutscene would play in Chrono Trigger. I would have to reboot the game because it would crash the game. Like, there were things that just did not work correctly on the Steam Deck because it's a different architecture. So the compatibility thing literally makes sense. The Switch 2 is the fucking Switch 2. It should run just Switch 1 games at the minimum. Like, there's no excuse that it can't. No excuse that there should even be a compatibility. The only compatibility list that should exist is explaining how it would Labo work, would Ring Fit work. That's the only thing that should have a list on. Not, oh, can Xenoblade work on this? Can, like, Donkey Kong work? Like, Mega Man can't run on it. And it's like, we're just gonna say, well, the Steam Deck has it, but the Steam Deck is it's a different situation. The Switch 2 is a fucking device made by the same people who made Switch 1. That uses the same tech as, like, it can read Switch 1 cards. Like, I don't know why people are like, explaining this away as, well, Steam Deck does it, when they're two different situations. It's like, really be confused why PS3 games are not ported when 360 games are. The PS3 and 360 have two different things on the inside of them. So this is bullshit. That's what I'm more pissed off about than anything else about the Switch 2. The price is the price. I mean, we can argue about the price all day. And the price, it's, what more can be said that hasn't been said already? But people coping over this fucking compatibility shit needs to wake the fuck up and eat bricks or something. Because come on. How can a Switch 1 game not run on a Switch 2? How is that a possibility that, oh, these games may not run the same way as it does? How are we allowing that? How did that happen?
You're going to look for new original content. So what else is out? This is Welcome Tour for $10. I guarantee you this will be a monster bestseller. Everyone will be doing Welcome Tour at the launch
I'm not.
of the Switch 2. But they have to pay for it.
Okay, so
I mean,
then
I remember
it's a
used to
non-issue,
buy
right?
a game
Whatever.
console. It would come with a bunch of games. It would be like, it comes with
No, you had to pay for those bundles, which they are doing for the Switch 2. You get a bundle with Mario Kart, like a more substantial game that you're gonna play more than Welcome Tour. This dude is saying, like, oh, I remember when consoles used to be no, and then if they were bundled, it would be bundled with one game or and a demo disc.
comes with Mario, it comes with Zelda, it comes with
What Nintendo console came with Mario and Zelda? What console? What console? When did that happen? When did that ever happen? The NES? But again, different environment back then, because this is like after a game crash and they were trying to win people over. But even then, I don't think they did that kind of crazy bundle.
like 3, 4 games, a big bundle. So when you're buying it, you're not just buying a console, you're buying an experience. You're buying a suite of games, and now you can enjoy this for weeks until you finally decide what will be my first original purchase. What will I add to my
This
library? Maybe it'll be
dude,
a Mega.
it kind of feels like he got like pignatized by his parents. Every Christmas, like they would buy him like a console and all these games, and they must have told, yeah, they were all bundled. Like they probably he could have been like, "Mommy, how much did this? This must have cost a lot." And like, no, Phil, they were all in a bundle, and they wasn't expensive at all. And to make him not feel guilty for having that, and then he was like, "They did that, wowie gee, mommy." And then like, and we get here because that there was no console bundle like that. Maybe I grew up in a different time. I mean, I was born in 1990. He was born in like 1950. I mean, maybe back then it was different.
a Mega Man game, or maybe it'll be Contra, or maybe, you know what I mean? No, now you buy the console, you can't even play anything on it. It didn't even come with a demo. Even PlayStation comes with Astro's Playroom. Not this.
I like how I didn't mention the Wii.
Nintendo has
Wii Sports,
completely
remember
lost their
that?
way and flipped on their head. They used to
And
be
again, this is fun trivia that I guarantee you, once DSP learns this trivia, he will say this trivia until he dies. This will be the, did you know Mario 2 was, do you know Doki Doki Panic? Mario 2 is Doki Doki Panic? That is when someone tells him, "Phil, did you know that Reggie pressured Nintendo to bundle the Wii with the Wii Sports? They were gonna do it back then, Phil. Remember that?" And he's like, "Yeah, wow, guy." And then like a week later, like a week of podcasts, every one of them. So like, did you guys know that Reggie was the reason why we had Wii Sports for free in the Wii? And he'll say that forever and say like, "See how they lost their way?" Like, man. But then, it's funny. I have a person on Twitter I follow. And every time there's a tweet saying, "Did you know that Reggie did that?" He always retweets saying, "Yeah, and Reggie did not greenlight any JRPGs. We would not have gotten Xenoblade if Reggie was still around." And so every time someone tries to sweep for Reggie, this dude comes out and says, "Yeah, but you know what? He would not have done this with these other good games. So yeah, fuck Reggie." And it's to me, I always look. I'm always looking at both sides. And Reggie did some good, and Reggie did some bad. Doug did some good. Doug did some bad. It's like you have. It comes and goes. Like, hey, I'll give Trump props for signing an executive order to make it more like nationwide, I think, because I don't know if it was nationwide at this point, but he's wanting hospitals to like itemize receipts. And I was like, that's cool. Okay, see, the positive side. Then there's always some negative here and there. I mean, this is just life. But DSP's it's just DSP stuff, you know what I'm saying?
to be consumer friendly, budget friendly.
What?
Not this. Nintendo has completely lost their way and flipped on their head. They used to be consumer friendly, budget friendly.
Consumer friendly. Wrong. When were they ever consumer friendly? Like, Sakurai stopped adding a story mode to Smash Brothers because he hated people uploading cutscenes to YouTube. They don't ever put their games on sale. They never do. And if they could ban used games, they would. They get rid of people who like want to like do fan projects, whatever. Like, they've done stuff that was anti-consumer. Like, they region locked the Japanese Switch too because they know it would be cheaper to import, so they region locked it. Which, I wonder though, right? If I were to buy a Japanese Switch 2, if that's cheap, then couldn't I also just buy the games there too? Wouldn't the games also be cheap as well? So it that doesn't really solve. Like, the only inconvenience is I wouldn't be able to get games day one necessarily, and I'll have to go to like PlayAsia.com to buy games. But that would still be cheaper than what's gonna happen, correct? But whatever, maybe I'm wrong because maybe the regional market will also like be like, oh, yeah, the electricity stuff is gonna be different too, or whatever. I don't know, or that it's gonna all be in Japanese. They can't use English, but phones can like translate stuff into English. So there's all and game developers can also do a meme where they have a Japanese game that has English stuff in it too. So it's there can be a lot of funny stuff that could happen potentially, but whatever. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Uh, but yeah, they're not consumer friendly. They're just not. And budget friendly. They're only budget friendly in the sense of that they don't want their consoles to be like $600 or $500. Like they want like parents to buy it for their kids. That's as far as it goes, and that's where it stops. Just that. That's as far as they're willing to think about budget. Other than that, eat it.
And full of innovation. Now they are anti-consumer, incredibly expensive, premium pricing, and there's zero innovation in their new console.
I love that he's like really hammering about the pricing. Meanwhile, Sony and Microsoft have introduced and walked in the $70 price tag. And they've actually even slowly started a campaign for 80. So like they're also doing that too. But he was very quiet about that. But this, oh, now it's personal, I guess. But this is because he's a fan. You see, when he's being honest and he's a fan of something, that means being negative. That's his logic. If you're remotely positive, you're just a fanboy, a shill, and stupid. But if you're negative, you're being honest. It is so insane. But if you're negative about him, you're a hater. But if you're loving him, you're being honest. So it's just more clown world logic from him.
Console. They have completely changed their market perspective. And you know what's funny about this, guys?
What's funny?
This
What's hilarious?
isn't the first time this has happened.
Oh.
What ends up happening every console generation, we get a dominant winner. And that dominant winner basically forgets everything that's ever happened in their track history. Okay?
No. What happens is that these people get so big, they make a lot of money, they feel like that people will eat it for them. Like, that's what happens. They're like, yeah, we were successful. They're just gonna eat it. They'll eat whatever we throw at them. And sometimes it happens. I mean, it is very situational too. Like, I do think like the only reason why Apple is able to get away with stuff is because people just like their products. Like, they make a lot of good products and they like it and they're like, yeah, you're gonna eat it, bitch. Nintendo, like, yeah, they know that you're gonna want to play Zelda, you're gonna eat it. Like, everyone that is like shitting on this Mario Kart price, yeah, they're gonna buy it one way or another. They're just gonna do it. Like, come on,
become
dog.
cocky. They become full of hubris, or
Like,
however the hell you pronounce it.
Hubris. But the thing is, like with Microsoft, for example, nobody wanted motion controls. Like, that was such a very distinct thing that people directly didn't want, and they're able to reverse it because people were at least very vocal why they weren't buying it, and it was very easy to understand. But these are very different. Like, but again, these are very like different like situations where it's like these issues that people have with Nintendo are to a degree minute, and there's nothing like the price. Nobody realistic can change that. At the end of the day, these are the prices. You're either gonna have to eat it, or you're gonna have to pray that something happens, or just buy pre-owned games, or get into the 7 Cs. Like, that's the options that are out there. And a lot of the times, a lot of these people that are buying Switches and doing all this stuff are willing to eat it because it's like, well, I don't want to do this, whatever, or that they finance, or they just like, hey, I'll save it for one game and then like I'll just play old games and whatever. Like, at some point you gotta be the big boy and say, I don't need to buy everything day one.
And then they walk into the next generation completely misconstrued in their head what's going on, and then they botch it. Okay? Let's think about this.
No, we don't need to think about this.
Nintendo, coming out of the Super Nintendo era, all right? They think their shit doesn't stink. They're the top dogs, right?
Dogs.
They think that they're going to dominate. Okay. Great. So for N64, we could go CD or we could just continue to go on cartridge and do our own thing. Forget it. We don't want to do CD. We think we know better than everyone else. Our shit doesn't stink. Let's go for cartridge.
Again, he's ignoring. For a dude that talks about ignoring history, he's ignoring a lot. They had a CD partnership with Philips that was shit. Like, they made shitty games and everyone hated them, and they were like, yeah, we're not doing this shit again. And then they got into with Sony, and then with Sony, they were like, well, they may want to steal our IP. We don't want to deal with that. And then they made cartridges. Like, that's kind of what happened. Like, that's why they didn't want to do anything with Sony. It had nothing to do with them thinking they know better. It's just that they had a bad experience. And again, this is what I mean. You could even argue they learned the wrong lesson from the Philips CD era. Like, instead of learning that maybe this company just sucks ass and this isn't the way you should embrace CD, instead it's like, no, CD is the problem. That's what happened there. Fuck that. Like, again, companies can learn wrong lessons from people not buying things.
For cartridges again. Well, Nintendo 64 wasn't a flop, but the PlayStation far blew N64 out of the water. Sold like hotcakes, tons of games.
He
All
praised
the
the
third-party
64 in the
games are
last
on
video.
PlayStation 1.
Remember that?
Nintendo was behind the times because they didn't look
This
at
dude went from praising the N64 in the previous day to saying the N64 sucked and it always sucked.
innovation and technology. They were going to make a CD drive, but they didn't. They gave it away, and then Sony picked it up, and then there you have it.
They
PlayStation
didn't give it away,
just
but whatever.
basically destroyed them. Okay? Fast forward to the PlayStation 2 era. All of a sudden, PlayStation is dominant. By far, PlayStation 2 outsold original Xbox, Dreamcast, all a competition. It is the dominant force in console. So what do they decide to do? Well, with PlayStation 3, let's just put a whole bunch of shit in there that no one wants. Let's put 6-axis controls. Let's put blue.
No, nobody had issues with this. The issue was quite literally the $599 US. That is the problem. The 6-axis, like, there was also another reason why there was no DualShock. There was like a lawsuit between the company that was doing the DualShock and Sony. So like that was not figured out. So like, yeah, we can't have DualShock with this. So, then they got it eventually because that got settled. But that's all that happened, was that they just couldn't get it because it was going through a dispute. Which nobody knew at the time, to be fair. I mean, that was only came to light like years after. So, but even then, what killed it was just the price. The price is what killed that console. Just immediately. Like, because I think people would have stomached the no rumble and all this if it was an affordable console. But since it wasn't, guess what? People are not going to buy it.
Bluetooth. Let's wedge in a processor called the cell processor.
By the way, I love that this dude, when it came to Don Matrick and the digital distribution DRM he wanted to introduce, TSP was slowly saying, he was ahead of his time, guys. Like, look at the digital infrastructure now. Actually, Don Matrick was ahead of his time, even though Don Matrick wanted far more nonsense that was bad. Like, just this factually bad. Like, I don't think he believed. I mean, it's kind of hard to believe, to be honest. And I kind of want to look into it again. But I just remember that they were talking about, like, they would use the Kinect to count how many people were in a room. And then, like, they would, like, charge you for that. It was some weird shit like that. And then, like, you couldn't share a game. It was very weird and very ridiculous. And Disney never really talks about that aspect of Don Matrick, and only talks about him wanting digital be a driving force for Xbox. Just that. But he doesn't acknowledge that Bluetooth is in everything now. The Xbox has Bluetooth, the PlayStation has Bluetooth, the Switch has Bluetooth, everything has Bluetooth. So wouldn't it be arguable that the PS3 was ahead of its time for having Bluetooth? Like, even with the Blu-ray drive, like, people were like, yeah, it was expensive at the time, but look at it now. Look at the format that won between HD, DVD, and Blu-ray. Blu-ray won. Everybody's using it now. So in some ways, it was ahead of its time. Like, yeah, it was $600, but I have to say, I love that console. I loved all these like you could put all these like little video files into your PlayStation. It had a PS2 backwards compatibility built in. Like it had all these cool things. The only reason why I ended up just not sticking with it and just getting the slim PS3 is just that it kept dying, and it's like I don't want to have to keep sending it to Sony and having it come back. And recently, like when I had that like flood in my basement, that PS3 was just officially dead. Like there was no saving it at all because no company will allow. Oh, well, I guess I could. Well, whatever. Fuck it. It was just I just didn't want to have to keep sending it back to Sony and paying like what, like I want to say $200 to get it repaired. Like I was like, it'll just be cheaper just to get a slim and just deal with that than having to constantly send it back to Sony and deal with that nonsense. So that's why I rationed that away. But I love that console. It was so cool. I loved it, and it was kind of sad that the PS3 is just like what it is, and I kind of feel that that they learned the wrong lesson. The media player in the PS3 was so good. Like there are issues where I can't burn some CDs, and I can just burn a CD on the PS3, then copy into a USB drive. How many times can you say that about any console now? How many consoles can even read a video file on a USB drive? Like, the PS5 can do that now, but not at launch, I don't think. And the Series X, maybe, but still, like, it's more of a, like, won't it? Meanwhile, PS3, pop it in. You can do that still with PS3, but it was just cooler with the old one. I miss the old one so much, but whatever. And the Spider-Man font. I love this. Everyone shat on it, but fuck you. That was cool. Sure, it was dumb and goofy, but that's what made it cool to me. It's like, yeah, this is dumb. Why not? Like now it's just the same generic. Oh yeah, it's the same PS. Okay, like, wow, so cool, right?
Processor that is so hard to design games for that literally every third party is cringing and screaming, "Why are we doing this? Why is Sony
Oh
putting us through this
man.
torture device?
See,
Why can't we just make?"
this is the thing. Everyone like knew that the self processor was a pain to develop for, and DSP like doubles down on that. I mean, it makes it just cringy. If anything, you're cringing more when he says it than when when someone on Twitter brings that up.
Games for their console.
He's like
Why is
throwing
it so easy to
steroids.
develop for PC and Xbox 360 and such a nightmare to develop for PS3? So what happened? PlayStation lost massive market share. They were the top dominant console the generation before, but they lost tons of market share during this era because they came in so cocky. Fast forward to the next console generation. Xbox
Right.
360 is dominant because PlayStation fumbled the ball. Now, by
Right.
the end of that console gen, it was pretty neck and neck, and some would even argue PlayStation overtook
Some
Xbox
would
360
argue.
at the very
Again,
end.
this
But
is
Xbox
this
was
is why who the fuck cares about console sales? Like, is anyone losing sleep over this? Like, oh man.
dominant for a very long time and known as a world leader in console games. So what do? They come out with the Xbox One, which forces people to have a Kinect that no one wants. You can't even buy the console without the Kinect. They have a whole bunch of awful PR about games are going to go all digital. You won't be able to share games with your friends. You won't be able to trade in games. All that's going away. And the entire
What
world
about
rallies
the
against them and says,
But what about when Don Matrix said, "Hey, if you want to play this, you got the Xbox 360 for you." Remember that? Remember that hot quote? He got so mad about that. It is so funny. Go back to that one. Was it Hate Live? Whatever. It was some video he did with Pandali. Pandali was in the video, and he got so butthurt about fucking Don Matrix saying that. Like,
We have service members in the military. You're telling them to buy a 360?
like, I mean, I get the anger, and like it was dumb for him to say that, but this dude was like, he was like bouncing, and Paley was just sitting there, just like, mm-hmm. It was kind of funny. It was a kind of funny video. He got so mad about it, and then since then, he became more like Don Metric was ahead of his time, man.
"No, Don Matrick, you idiot. We don't want that. We want tradable games, shareable games, no forced motion controls with the Kinect. We want this and this and this. And what happens? Hubris, arrogance,
Hubris. Oh my
confidence
god. You
makes
gotta
Xbox
be a
fumble the
fucking
ball.
Bible about this.
And they went into that
A
console gen
biblic
dominant, and they
war.
completely were crushed by PlayStation
The
during the
hubris
PS4
of
era.
game console
Xbox
companies.
One literally failed, where Xbox 360 had shined. Okay?
They dared
So
to go to
now,
human
you fast
instrumentality and they
forward to
failed.
the situation with Nintendo.
Oh
So
shit.
after having failed a couple consoles, N64, GameCube, yeah, they were popular, but they weren't as good as PlayStation. So now they come out with the Switch. Excuse me, they come out with the Wii. The Wii is a dominant force because of motion control. The gimmick works. The whole world wants a Wii
works.
because they want to stand in front of their TV, dancing around, waggling the Wiimotes all over the place, right? So Nintendo does it. They
Come on. People just wanted the Wii because it was like an interesting concept. It wasn't like, I want to dance in front of my TV, I need to dance. You could even do it with the PS2 with the iToy and DDR. They just wanted to see how this would work, and then they also saw Zelda work on it. It's like, oh, you get a Slash with this? That's pretty cool. Like, come on, that's all it is. And you didn't need to stand to use the Wii. Oh, get out of here.
They became the sales leader again. They're beating their competition. They're selling software like hotcakes. Even crappy shovelware is selling on this thing. Accessories, everything. Amazing. So what do? Overconfidence, hubris, arrogance. Let's make the
I
Wii U.
love that we're just listing hubris. Wouldn't hubris pretty much cover what he's getting at? But we're describing other descriptors of the thing you're describing. Okay.
Well, wait a minute. Who's asking to have a screen on the gamepad? Did you ever say, I want the screen on my gamepad?
I want everyone to just remember the previous day, he was like going crazy about innovation. Innovate. He even said that the Wii U was innovative. Like, oh man. I gotta find it.
What is the innovation in Switch 2?
Oh god. No, I lost it.
A portable
Oh, well.
console with mini discs and many new control features.
Right.
The Wii, motion controls for the masses. The Wii U, a touchpad screen built into your controller. And the Switch.
Wow. So he hyped it up there. This is April 2nd. April 30, he went to bed. He woke up. Fuck the Wii U. It's like you just remembered, wait a minute. I hate the Wii U.
Well, wait a minute. Who's asking to have a screen on the gamepad? Did you ever say, I want the screen on my gamepad?
But it was cool because it allowed DS games to just be ported on the Wii U. If you think about it, that's pretty neat. The other thing was like, Zelda, when Zelda Breath of the Wild was going to be a Wii U exclusive, it was going to have the map there. It was going to have a lot of features there that was going to be cool. Now I think was it just only the map? But whatever, it's still like, nowhere near what it was going to be initially. But the whole point was like so that if the parents want to use the TV, the game can go to the console. That's all it is. Like, okay.
No, I don't think a single person. What they wanted was a hybrid that was kind of a portable and a home console. The Wii U was not that. It kind of pseudo, represented that.
But you know what's
but it
kind of
wasn't. You
funny
couldn't just
about
take
the
your
Wii
Wii U
U?
gamepad and leave
You
your
want
house.
you want to know what's funny about the Wii U? Is that it kind of, in a way, started this like remote play idea. Because that's kind of how it worked. Because it would work through like a Wi-Fi connection, and that's how it would connect to the gamepad, or through Bluetooth. Like you could like take the gamepad in another room to play a game, whatever. Like it would work like that. In a way, that's how remote play works with PlayStation. Like I could do a remote play on my iMac, basically, if I wanted to.
It wouldn't work. So it didn't make sense. And no one wanted it, and it flopped. Huge. One of the biggest failures Nintendo's ever done.
But again, he wants to highlight that that's being the reason, but people would have bought in, I feel, with this gimmick, but they did not separated enough from the Wii. They called it the Wii U, and everyone thought it was just an addition. Like, this was a thing that's so obvious was a misunderstanding. Like, everyone and their mom talked about that. Like, the name was confusing, but then the understanding of that confusion is widely known.
Done. So you would think, man, we kind of blew it with the N64. The GameCube didn't do well. Man, the Wii U is a failure. You would think Nintendo would have learned from
Wait, what?
on. So you would think, man, we kind of blew it with the N64. The GameCube didn't do well. Man, the Wii U is a failure.
But
You
they
would
also had
think Nintendo would have
successes,
learned
though.
from all of these experiences.
But you know what? With this logic, you could again throw this back at him. You would think these people would learn the success after dealing with Keto Casino and doing DramaCon. He'd do drama, but no, he did this. What an idiot, right? Okay.
And said, we're going to do better now. No. It's as if because the Switch now has been a hit, they forgot their whole history again. It's this simple.
It's this
History.
simple.
If you don't study it, acknowledge it, and learn from it, it is destined to...
This is so fucking cringe, dude.
If you don't learn from history, if you don't acknowledge it,
But it's like, come on.
repeat itself.
It's only
Nintendo
true in some
thinks
situations.
it's still the 1990s. They really believe that. They don't understand the market. They don't understand what's going on right now in the
But that's
world.
also not true because you can make something that's. But this dude complained about when games stay in the 90s or they go or whatever, or that they try to modernize too much. Like, this is a defeatist argument. Fuck off.
And they're trying to sell you an underpowered console with features that every other console has already had for years. And they're touting it like it's some innovative console that's actually next gen.
They did not tout Switch 2 as an innovative console. They're just touting it as this is the next Switch. Like, this innovation thing, like, to be fair, I know where I can understand why DC says this because a lot of people feel this way about Nintendo, but a lot of people have this self-awareness to understand that Nintendo isn't explicitly like saying this, like, because a lot of people say, well, I think they're gonna do this because Nintendo usually does that, and they usually do this other thing. They never say Nintendo does this, and they say this as a matter of fact.
Which it very much is not. They're charging you premium prices for games you've already played. They're nickel and diming you for upgrades, just incremental upgrades too. Oh, slightly better resolution, little bit better frame rate for a game you already own on the previous console.
But you don't have to pay $70.
They're charging you massive amounts of money for accessories.
That's different,
You need
though.
a proprietary EX speed.
The accessories are like, dude, like these cards, of course, are gonna be that price, but it's gonna like change over time. Like, Nintendo is not making these cards themselves, though. This is made by another company. That these cards like are more than likely going to go down in price over time. Because yeah, these are cards that are like, yeah, these cards can work, but it's like these cards are also like not made by Nintendo specifically. Like, Nintendo's not making these cards. Another company is. The most they're doing, they make it the like approval to have like a mushroom on the fucking card, but that's not like. That doesn't mean Nintendo has their hands in that development.
Memory card that's going to run you $100 to $200 to be able to store a certain amount of games. They have learned nothing. They just think, hey, it's time for us to keep trying to milk the cow. Because honestly, when you look at a situation like this, I feel now that those who are in charge at Nintendo actually just see their consumers as an income source.
This is so funny. It's so funny. He like bitches and cries about when the relationship between a business and the consumer is not clear, and the entity is trying to make you think that they're your best friend and this and that, and that's disgusting behavior. Like, just tune into any idol, like any Yakuza game where an idol shows up, he goes on these rants.
they try to pretend to be your friends, but they're not.
Like, but then when a company is a company, and it's I think everyone understands that. Yeah, they just want our money. It's like a revelation, and it's disgusting. But it's like, I thought you want the relationship to be this clear, but I was arguing that they're not thinking about you. But they have like other investments to pay. They have investors to please, and this and that. Like, see, this is the slippery slope of CEO nonsense. You're not gonna necessarily uh get them to say, yeah, we should sell stuff at a cheap price. Because guess what? If they can sell you something double the price, they'll do that and not think about it. And then blame you if you
I
don't
hate to
buy
say
it.
that because you want to think, oh, no, this company actually
And
cares about.
it's funny. Again, more projection. It really does seem the more he hates about Nintendo, the more you see like self-hatred. Like it's projection like wild. Because that's what DSP sees his audience as. He just got like $1,000 the previous day. The next day he's assuring his chat, that's a different day. I need money today, guys. Okay? Let's hit the goals and smash the trolls. Let's hit the goals. You want to see me eat food, right? And this and that. Like, that's directly telling your audience to keep up the momentum. Like, he tells his chat to keep up the momentum of support. I don't remember Nintendo ever telling me, let's keep up the momentum. Guys, Switch 2's coming out. Let's keep up the momentum of Switch 1 and buy the Switch 2. Like, they're not telling me to keep up the momentum and, guys, let's do this to own the trolls. Let's do that. Come on, guys. Now, guys, we fucked up with the Wii U. Buy the amiibos, and you too may see some investment or whatever the fuck. Like, none of this happens. DSP is far more like sheer comparison between the Nintendo and DSP. Nintendo seems more generous than DSP, and we're honest because DSP keeps wanting to be like motivated to give him money. Nintendo is not trying to motivate you to buy. It's just, hey, here's these things. Feel free to buy it. That's all it is. Even the Nintendo, they never said, guys, you will buy this thing. It's like, this is the Nintendo Switch 2. We got this going for it. Isn't this pretty cool? We hope to see you buy this game. Like, we hope to see you enjoy the Switch 2. But this dude is like telling him, keep up the momentum, guys. The momentum, keep up the momentum. It's far more dirty and fucking shady than Nintendo ever did.
Cares about its culture. It cares about its gamer base, its player base, its consumer base. And I don't believe that.
He really wants all these companies to like bend over for customers, which they will never do that. There's a lot of reasons why, and you can go either way with it, but at the end of the day, I don't think you want a Joe Nobody to like dictate a company and what they should do. Because what do they know? Like, it's like content creation or making videos. You may get a comment. There may be people who have a good idea, but there's also just as much people saying bad ideas. So like, how is a company supposed to learn or to get feedback? Which is why it's better to let them to leave them at their own devices and go from that or whatever. Buy what you want to buy. But this dude is really like wanting these companies to be like, oh my god, DSP, you're gonna buy this Switch. Oh my god, guys, we're gonna lower our price because we love you guys. Oh my god, you're gonna buy it, guys. It's ridiculous. With that logic, you could say, well, Sony added 5 days to the PlayStation Plus. They must care about us. Guys, Sony must really care. Dude, they're giving you 5 days of fucking PS Plus. Even with the PS3, when they give you, like, what, a month? It's like, wow. Yeah, you're totally not doing this because this shouldn't have happened, right? Like,
Believe that. Not anymore. When I look at this as $30 amiibos, $80 for a game that's 4 or 5 years old.
but he's not buying an amiibo, and like again, I don't know what material is used for the Switch 2 amiibos, and I don't care because these are not big deal for me. I don't need to buy an amiibo. If I want a good figure, I'll buy a cool figure, but they're good for characters that are like too niche for
Years old and you
figures.
already played. That doesn't scream to me, oh, we care. That screams to me, we don't care, and all we want is more income, and we don't give a shit
Well,
about
that's
your
every
feelings, about your
company.
budget, about the
What?
situation in the world.
How come? How come like all these other companies, they can say fuck your feelings all they want, but Nintendo, how dare they? Is it really because oh my god, dude, it's because they were there in the 80s. They started video games, and they should suck our dick. Dude, that's not how business works. Or anything for that matter. Like, come on. Like, wow, Nintendo, you lasted for more than 10 years. You should, like, give us games for free, man.
World right now, all we care about is pumping profits out while we can get them. And that way, if we make tons of money on the launch of Switch 2, who cares if then there's like a big slope down for a while? At least we made our
Slope
money now and we
down.
pocketed it, so we're good.
But if people are buying the games at that price, so they're all buying Switch 2's day one, that would tell Nintendo that they don't mind and all this other stuff. Then they'll get sales later down the line as well. Like, it just doesn't matter. Again, these aren't things that matter to the common consumer, and it doesn't mean much. Again, if the Switch 2 didn't sell at all, then they could learn the wrong lesson. Like, oh, it must be because no one likes Donkey Kong. No one bought it because of Mario Kart, so let's just not do Mario Kart. That was a launch title on that, and we didn't sell even on that, so obviously Mario Kart's the problem here. Like, literally, they can make any argument to say something that isn't true, or whatever.
And then maybe there'll be another slump like we had with the Wii U, but it's fine because we know our consumers are stupid. We know our customer base is dumb and a cult, and they're going to
But
buy any.
if their consumers are dumb and all this stuff, then why was the Wii U a failure? He acts as if like this cult-like behavior has been around for years, but it's like, if that's true, then how was the Wii U a failure? The amiibos weren't like, did anyone even say that amiibos saved Nintendo? I don't remember seeing any articles like, guys, amiibos saved Nintendo. Like, Wii U was bleeding money regardless, and it was a bad mark on Nintendo. But then they made the Switch after that. Like, they assured investors, like, our next console is gonna be be way better, and this and that. Like, they did other stuff to like circumvent that, but amiibos didn't save the company. Like, he put so much like value in them selling amiibos. It's kind of wild because I don't think that was the case. Because if that was, like, come on.
Buy anything anyway. So if, hey, they won't buy games, we'll just sell more $30 amiibos for 4 years, and then we'll come back with another console that people will buy again. It's a pretty bad circle, in my opinion.
Like, it's so like speculative, and he infers so much out of nonsense.
So I don't know.
Like,
You know, I'm 2
that's
days
really
in.
like, I could read an article that said Nintendo is going to sell Skullgirls Third Encore. They bought the rights to Skullgirls, and they're gonna make it themselves, and they're gonna turn it into a platformer. Oh my god, they're doing that because Nintendo is desperate for my money. That's why they're doing it. They want me to buy the console day one.
Days into this thing, and I'm trying to think of it positively. And to be honest, I'm excited for Mario Kart Tour. World Tour. It looks great. I'm excited for Donkey Kong Bonanza. It looks really good. I'm excited for Metroid Prime 4. But outside of that, 3 things that we've seen, I'm literally excited for nothing else. I don't want to play third-party titles.
Guess why he's not excited for anything else? Because Nintendo didn't tell him anything else. See how fucking like all this is him getting mad he can't plan for the rest of the year. And he has to spend like $500 on a console and only play for 2 months, maybe 3 for those 3 games, and then nothing else because he doesn't want to play other third-party games, even if they're exclusive. Because you can't play Xenoblade on any other platform, legally. You can't play Xenoblade Chronicles 1 on anything other than a Nintendo console. You can't play Xenoblade Chronicles 2 or 3 or X on anything than a Nintendo console. But these are not Nintendo first-party games by any means. These are like whatever. Same with the Platinum Games. Like, Astral Chain's a Nintendo exclusive, but Platinum Games is not owned by Nintendo. So it's. But these are games under other parties that DSP just writes off because they're not Nintendo. So it's kind of unfair for him to say, well, why would I play third-party games when I could play them on PC? But that doesn't. But these other party games that come out, they may not even be on other consoles. You realize that these games can be Switch exclusive and not be a first party game. You know that can exist, right?
On the Switch 2, I don't see the point. I don't want to buy Street Fighter 6 and play it on Switch 2. I can already play it on PC at the best graphics possible with no input delay with my insanely high-end Rolls-Royce of joysticks. Why do I want to play this on the Switch 2, likely with input delay, likely with lag
How does
on
that
an
input
inferior
delay?
controller?
Whatever.
Why would I want to do that?
Why would I
I'm
want
not
to do
stupid.
that?
I just
Okay, so it's
I
not
don't
made
get
for
it.
you then. It's made for casual
I'm
people.
lost.
Like, why would
What's
they
the
make
value
Strive for
proposition of the
Switch?
Switch 2? With the Switch, it was the first truly hybrid portable home console. Okay? I get that value proposition. With the Wii, it
No,
was
he
the
didn't.
first time.
He factually did not. He literally said it was stupid and nobody would use it. He literally has shat on the entire concept of the Switch. Literally. Like it is a joke that he's trying to say that I understand the proposition. No, you didn't. No, you fucking didn't. He sat there, is like, why would I want Nintendo to make a full power console. What did they do? They made a handheld. Like, you can literally just go back and find pre-streams of this dude bitching about the Switch being a hybrid console than anything else. And now he's like, I saw the value proposition. No, you fucking didn't, dude.
First time ever, full motion controls, be a part of the action. Okay, I get it.
No,
That
you
makes
hated
sense to
that.
me.
He hated
What's the value
that.
proposition of the Switch 2?
Whatever.
Better graphics? We have those. Better graphics for just Nintendo properties? Is that worth $900? Because
If
that's
you
what
like
you're going to
Nintendo
pay.
games, yes.
$450 for the console.
The-
You got to get a Pro controller because you know the Joy-Cons aren't going to
The
be.
Switch 1 Pro Control does work with the Switch 2. That was confirmed by Nintendo themselves. So that is at least good. I can still use my Zelda controller. So that's pretty good.
Very good. You got to get an expansion memory card that's $100 to $200, and each game's $80, $90. You're spending $900 on this console, whether you like it or not.
Well, now it might be more.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a sad situation. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. And just for the record, of course I want to get one. Number one, I want to do an awesome console unboxing for you guys for the first time ever. I want to use
course.
my new
That's
setup
all
here
that's all
to
he cares
live
about.
unbox a console, show
Dude,
you
I'm
what it
telling
looks
you, I guarantee you some dent is gonna buy him a Switch 2. And he's gonna be like,
Look, guys, I got Tony the Switch too.
and then he may also secretly buy one, and then that one will go to Cat. And then then on top of that, the best part, he'll write it off on his taxes because technically he didn't lie. He did buy the Switch 2. It's just the one he bought went to Cat, and the one who got gifted went to him.
looks like, describe it, hook it up, do that hands-on experimentation on day one when it comes out to show you exactly what it's capable of. I want to play the games to show you what it is. I'm a content creator. It's my job, right? As a consumer, if this were me buying a Switch 2 for myself, I literally wouldn't. I'd be like, it's not worth it to just buy this console just for Mario Kart, then wait a month and just play Donkey Kong and then have it sit there and collect dust.
you
Literally, I
also
wouldn't
play-
do that at all.
Playing Switch
I
1
would wait.
games if you're
I would wait for a
backlogged,
price drop. I would wait for
whatever.
more games. Buy this thing in a year or two when there's like 10 good games for it. Then I would get it. But
But you know,
I'm
the thing is, like, you know, I love that he argues that like a lot of stuff that used to be big are no longer big because everyone's doing it. Like, he would bitch about like unboxing has been done before and everyone cares about that, whatever. Like, he doesn't need to buy this and do these unboxing videos. Like, I mean, nobody cares that much about unboxing. And the people that they watch, they talk a little bit more than just, oh wow, look at the screen or whatever. Like, because what he does is so stupid.
Okay, I'm gonna compare the Switch to the Switch 2. Okay. Oh, look at this. Wow, it's like this. Wow.
content creator. I've got to cover it. It's my job. It's the content you want. I know that if I cover the Switch 2 launch, you guys will love it. It's going to bring in attention, views, support. I get that. So, you know, I'll bite the bullet. I'll spend all that money so that we can see together what exactly the Switch 2 is all about. All right? And maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I'll actually be impressed and blown
right.
away.
No, you won't.
You know,
You
you
hate
never
this-
know.
you hate
But all I
Nintendo.
can do
You
is I
hate
can tell you what
Nintendo
I'm
DSP.
seeing up front.
Your Nintendo
What
hate's
I'm seeing
too
up
strong.
front is that this thing is not impressive, and it seems to be a huge ripoff, in my opinion. Now, if you guys don't mind, I got a catch in my.
Okay, I don't care about your fucking catch in your fucking goblin hands.
I got a catch. I gotta get Jasper to get it for me.
I don't know what causes it, and I got to fix it because if I. Let me fix.
Okay, I don't care.
Okay, so let's do some more shout outs,
just
and then
a-
we'll see what you guys want to
just
talk
a
about
few
for the
shout-outs
rest of the
that I
show.
wanna talk
I would say if
about.
you guys have any brainstorming of what to do for a 100 goals hit, I'm all ears.
Oh my
You are
God.
first sub of the day. Let's get that up on the
Fucking finger
leaderboard.
snap. Oh,
I received a $3 tip
all right.
from Beaver Bother. Why call Nintendo consumers idiots when you'll be pre-ordering and playing day one? Because I just explained that I'm a content creator who needs to cover it for work,
have
and that
to
you guys
cover
want
it.
to see me cover it so that you don't have to spend it right away. That's the whole idea.
But you can get
If
that
you don't
anywhere
understand
else.
that, you're pretty stupid. Like, no, seriously.
Like,
Like,
you
that's
don't
a
need
really
to
dumb thing to
find
say.
DSP to do
You don't
it.
understand the difference between a common consumer where video games are their escape or their entertainment, while for me, it's work.
But you know what's kind of dumb though? Like, think about this, right? He's gonna get it. He's gonna play Mario Kart. He's gonna say,
"Ah, it's a really good game, but it like I don't know, it's worth this much, man."
and you know Mario Kart's not going, and you're like, it's fucking Mario Kart. Like, you're really gonna sit like, is DSP really gonna play this game? Let's say this game is amazing, right? Let's say it is actually a system seller. You think DSP is gonna say, "Wow, this guys, I think you should buy a Switch 2 for this game"? He never has done that about anything, ever, ever. Nobody has done. Honestly, nobody has done that. I have not seen a single person ever say in any serious way, guys, you should buy this to experience this game. Guys, like, I love No More Heroes 3, but at the time it was, well, I mean, everyone had a Switch, so, you know, it's like an easy way to get people in on that. But it's like, let's say the Switch was not, like, nobody loved it. Am I gonna sit there and say, guys, buy No More Heroes 3, buy a Switch for that? Like, but any game. It's fucking Mario Kart. Like, yeah, Donkey Kong looks fun, like, it's Donkey Kong. Like, you kind of get the idea on the gist of these games. But they're video games at the end of the day. Like, it's not a big brain thing to say, like, oh yeah, you don't need this day one. Like, you don't need anything day one. You always buy it later. Like, the only time you'll be racing for competitive games the only competitive game that's on the Switch that, you know, people are gonna race for are two of them. Splatoon and fucking Smash Brothers. Other than that, nobody's gonna like be like, I need to buy the Switch. There's gonna be a multiplayer game I must own to learn the meta. But it's like, you know, whatever. Like, it's a video game. Like, there's no experience that is gonna, like, even back in the N64, like, yeah, Mario 64 was huge, but like, well, I don't know. Well, I don't know, because I remember I went to a friend's house that in N64 and that like blew my mind. But that's also very different. Like, it's a very different landscape. Now that I think of it, because like back then, like, you know, you've never seen anything like an N64 before. You've never seen anything like the PS2. But like now, it's like you've seen all these things before. Like, you know, I think it's a little bit easier. Like, kids are different. Like, kids, you know, they always want the next thing. I mean, they're fucking kids. But even then, I could even understand either some parents or kids like kind of rationalizing, saying like, okay, maybe I don't need this day one, maybe I don't need this now, or whatever. Like, it's not that hard to like explain that to a kid. Like, you know, they're gonna throw a tantrum. They may be mad for a bit, but they're gonna get over it. They're gonna like, because they're kids. I mean, they're not. I mean, it's not that they'll get over it because they'll forget and all this stuff. But you know that they fucking learn from these things. Like, it. I think someone said it in a stream, but he has a very like spoiled kid mentality, and it shows.
You're a dunce. Thanks for the $3 tip. Okay.
But he doesn't. But he doesn't need to do this. And if he also wants to make a point of Nintendo fucked up, he could just not buy it to make a point. Like, yeah, okay, you can make that argument and buy a Switch 2, but if you want to make it a very like strong point that's gonna resonate, maybe don't buy a Switch 2. But he has to buy Beast first. If that's the case, then it's not that big of a deal then. It's just a criticism. But he acts as if it's like a grave injustice that Nintendo has committed.
Can
Nintendo
I say
needs to.
hi to Toasty for the 100 goal celebration?
Okay, we're just gonna move on ahead. I think. Is there anything
So,
else?
I've pretty much covered what I'm excited for.
Oh my god,
Hi.
we're back to the fucking schedule?
I'm
Oh no. I was trying to find the because I think
systems falter, which would then cause Nintendo to end its closed ecosystem. Come the new top tip.
he talks about the OLED, I think, and I want to find that. This might be it.
I received a $6 tip.
I think it was in this.
So this person has
shout-out.
become the new top tipper from the hottest woman in college. The best
Oh,
thing
I
to
bet.
do is not buy the Switch 2. Let Nintendo gaming systems falter, which would then cause Nintendo to end its closed ecosystem and become like Sega. And voila, their stuff will be on all platforms with
Yeah,
added bonus of
okay.
no more.
Fuck off. Like, whatever. Yeah, let's let another company go from making consoles to then make software, and they could be locked on consoles that may decide to buy Nintendo and then shut them down. That's what they should do, right? Like I'm just gonna say people should just be happy that Nintendo is what they are now, because if they do this, they're more likely to be bought, and then they could also be shut down. Then we'll never see Mario ever again in the way that we know him. Maybe. I mean that is like because I don't necessarily know if the value of the company would change if that were to happen, but I do think it would be more open for that to happen, and I don't think that would be good to remove that option, right?
No more overpricing of Nintendo games. Yeah, except I hate to say it. What you're saying.
But how would that be the case? Because you know that like there are cases where companies may say, "Hey, this game, don't put it on sale. Never put this on sale." Like they could do that. Like why wouldn't they be able to do that? I don't know. Whatever.
is business 101. What you're saying is actually correct. Nintendo needs to be taught a lesson that they're not better than everyone else, that they're not protected from the market, that they need to innovate, that they need to have value for the customer. Right now,
But the
they
value
don't believe that. They think that they're
Whatever,
better than
okay.
everyone else, and therefore they can kind of do whatever they want. It's really not true. But
I love
they're
that
protected by this.
we're just mad preemptively because we think it's gonna sell huge numbers. It may or may not. I mean, again, we don't know what's gonna happen. But the thing is, at the end of the day, it could sell pretty well, and these people will still be mad about it. He'll still be
very
seething.
bizarre group of consumers that literally consume everything Nintendo makes. It doesn't, I mean, think of it this way. In the middle of the life cycle of the Switch 1, everyone said they wanted a Switch Pro,
Oh,
that they
man.
wanted better graphics, more
Here we
storage,
go.
a fixed Joy-Con.
They
There was
got
a
more
laundry list of
storage.
things the consumer
They
wanted.
got more storage,
Nintendo
though.
responded by making the Switch OLED, which
Oh.
literally did none of those.
But you could expand your storage. How did they not? What?
things. It didn't give better graphics. It didn't fix the Joy-Cons. The only thing it did was slightly improve the screen and the speakers and the stand. 3 things no one asked for.
Well, I
Those
like the
same
screen.
people who complained and screamed we want Switch Pro went and bought the Switch OLED.
Where's the proof of this? And also, what if they're like they understand? Like this is what I mean when it's like people can criticize a company and still buy something and still criticize it. Like people could have bought the OLED because they like the OLED technology because it's a better screen for portable reasons. So they could have bought it for that. It's like, I wish it was a little bit better or whatever. But they also understood, well, they are gonna probably do a Switch 2. Like the Switch isn't gonna be the only console. Like there's not gonna be a Switch 3. And I kind of think, I don't think anyone would understand. They should not be making 0.5 consoles because they did that with the 3DS. They did it for that and it sucked because it literally like cut off games for the 3DS, the normal one. Like there were games that were made exclusively for that new 3DS. And the thing is, it wasn't that much games. It was kind of dumb, and just like awful. But it was just dumb. Which is funny because he never talked about that aspect of the new 3DS. He never brought that side of it up. But if they do a 0.5 console for the Switch 2, like a Switch 2 Pro, they could just as well just make exclusive games for that. And it's like, why are you doing 0.5 console exclusives? Like at this point, just make a new console. I would much rather have that than have Nintendo do these wacky 0.5 consoles that have exclusives. Because I feel that they're gonna do that if you let them. So just be happy that we're doing this because it's just easily to understand. Yeah, they're gonna do a sequel. Just wait for that. Like that's why I don't care about these pro consoles. It's just dumb. I have a PS5. If I want a better console, I'll wait for the PS6. Like, why buy a PS5 Pro? Why buy a Switch Pro when the Switch 2 is gonna come out? Like, it's just dumb to me because you're buying at that point. You're buying more for consoles over time. The OLED only works for people who want to use it portably. And people who don't use it portably, they don't need to buy it. Like, that's all it's for. And he's acting as if all these people who shat on Nintendo all bought this. Like, where is this proof of this? Because it sold pretty well. Did it sell pretty well? I remember seeing a lot of people say that this thing sold as much as Switch 1. It probably sold good for them, but probably not, like, making records.
LED anyway. In droves. It sold tons. So Nintendo made out. It didn't make any sense at all. So when you're that brainwashed and you literally complain, but then you buy anyway, why would Nintendo ever have incentive to change or improve? They're being conditioned to be told we can do whatever we want. Our consumers are suckers. We'll just,
Man.
we'll say whatever we want. We'll do whatever we want.
Dude,
and we'll
DSP does that for his own shit. Every time people call him out on look at how he responds to people like, you're doing pizza parties, Phil? You're doing this for the goals? That's kind of dumb. Like,
Yeah, but my fans love it, so like it's worth it, man.
that's not like admitting that your chat's suckers and that they'll pay for anything. Like he bragged about this too. He bragged that his fans will show up to support him no matter what. He has made that brag before, and he's acting as if that never happened. Right.
and we'll still be rewarded. So there you have it. I don't know. Until these people wise up, I don't think things are going to change. What's going on, Jade? He says, I like Yakuza, so I will see you there, but I won't see you tonight. Sounds good. And thank you. He says, happy early birthday. Thank you so much.
Sounds good. Can't have that Trump clip. Sounds
Yeah.
good. Doesn't work.
Someone tipped $2 and is blabbing about something that I don't even understand, so thanks for $2. Okay.
Oh.
All right.
I think it's something else. Wait, no. Someone else mentioned the OLED.
Ego says, actually, the Switch OLED is currently more expensive than a PS5 Slim or an Xbox Series
All right. I want to fact check this. I'm just gonna go to full screen because I don't know because I'm gonna go to Amazon. I don't want it to be docs, guys. Okay. So let's go to Amazon. If it can load, I don't know if it's gonna load. It sounds good, doesn't work. Let's see. Switch OLED. Currently, okay, $342. I think it said PS5 Slim, so let's do PS5 Slim. Let's just compare it with that. Let's see. $500. So the PS5 Slim is $500, and the Switch OLED. Sorry, I gotta look at the number again. Is $342. I'm gonna just say I think the Switch OLED is cheaper. Call me crazy. Maybe I'm dumb. But you know what? Let's look at the Xbox Series S. Let's do that. 250. Oh, that's renewed. 200. It starts at, well, the list is $300 because now it's on sale for like $285. I mean, that's basically 300. Whatever, $300. Whatever. OLED. Ooh, Nintendo still wins. Okay, actually, that's also on sale because no, that's renewed. I keep looking at renewed. $350. So okay, the Series S is cheaper. It is cheaper, but for $42 more, you can get the Switch OLED. Because I mean, honestly, who would want the Series S anyway? Like that's dumb. But let's take a look at Series X. Okay, let's just take a look at the Series X. Why not? That is $575. Yes. Clearly, this dude who told the ESP that knows what the fuck they're talking about. Literally found them to be cheaper. The Switch OLED is literally factually cheaper. Dude got live debunked in this video. Gwet debunked.
Series S. Insane. For what
And-
value added?
And DSP believes it. DSP believes it. But you know what's funny? Hold up.
The screen's slightly better?
Oh, yeah. Dude, it's cheaper than the Series X and only slightly more expensive than the Series S. And again, you're choosing between a lame, underpowered console that's the Series S to the Switch that you can take anywhere and buy pre-owned games. Guess which one will win the buyer over faster. It's cheaper than the PS5 Slim too. So like this will like, oh yeah, he believed that dude's nonsense. The Switch OLED is more expensive than the PS Slim and Series S. I mean, he's only half right. He's right about the Series S. He is right, but it's still not that much. It's not enough for me to be like, oh my god, I can't believe it. But it is cheaper than the PS5 Slim. Like it is cheaper, unless I looked at the wrong model. But that's a specific model. Then at that point, if the baby because it wasn't the renewed model either. I want to make that very clear. I mean, because again, would anyone want a renewed model? Because that's refurbished. Would anyone really want that? I mean, I don't know. Some people would if they're tight on money, but you could do the same. You could find the same for Switch. I found a Switch OLED that was renewed that's also cheaper. So it doesn't. So regardless, Switch still wins. The Switch OLED still wins. Like, what would be his ideal price for the Switch OLED? Probably $100. I guarantee that's what would be his price. $100.
What's up, Game Boy? How are you today?
What's up, Game Guy?
So, guys, the good news is
Okay, so I think that's it. Because the rest he's just meandering for money. I know he like cries about idol culture. I was like something else, but I'm not gonna do that. He's still doing podcasts? No way. He went on break. Oh my god. Okay, I'm just gonna do the cold open. I gotta see the cold open.
Easy stuff going on in the. What is going on, everyone? It is a week-ending show. What a week it's
Right.
been.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff going on in the realm of gaming with the Switch 2 announcements and all of that. But today is no exception because, ladies and gentlemen, we have to talk about the big news in the room. The Switch 2 will be delayed, or at least pre-orders will be, in the United States due to the Trump tariffs.
Wow.
Could this mean-
this dude bitch and mind whined and cried about Biden every day about the inflation. This happens, and it's a hyped moment. It's an exciting moment. Oh man. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Mean that the Switch 2 will actually be even more expensive.
I
Oh
think
boy.
you. I think you want to hit the button again, and it didn't play.
Plus, could this
What did you
mean
say?
that the Switch 2 will actually be even more expensive? Oh boy.
Oh
Plus,
boy. I mean, what do you think, Phil? I want DSP to explain that to me. Okay.
it's the calm before the storm because my birthday is Sunday, and that means
Okay, fuck off. I want to hear what he has to say about these tariffs.
they got the most support. So I would like to Taco Bell. They're trying to compete with them
Oh god, don't go full
and
screen.
things on Monday. Keep in mind Tuesday,
I
Sell the
hate
Midnight
sometimes when you
comes out.
double tap and does full screen. I never want that.
Looks like the
Oh my
didn't
god.
work. Their ideas were not good. They
What?
just were kind of. I would say the chain together gaming collab was
Oh my
fun.
god, we had a Kino Casino moment. Oh man, oh god. Let's just skip ahead. Oh god, this is Oh my god. This is like you put the you Photoshop the Switch 2 in that hand and it's like he's like, "Oh my god." He's gonna
Fucking
drop it.
coward. He'll only show up when it's everyone piling on someone and it makes him look good. Yeah,
What?
it's a Gundam on the show. Well, yeah, because as you already said, the guy's a fucking coward. He'll
He still thinks PPP was being honest in those DMs. Like everyone was telling him. I feel everyone told him since then, "Hey, PPP was lying in those DMs." And he just said, "Ah, okay, but I lied too, man." But then he would double down on PPP being honest. So it's like really silly.
he'll only show up when it's everyone piling on someone and it makes him look good. So by literally having him on their show, they proved the entire point that we were saying all along. The guy's a pussy, a coward, an awful content.
He wanted it to be true so bad, but it's like that he lied. He literally lied to him. Oh man, okay.
Oh, that's insightful. That's interesting. Maybe that's a good take. Maybe that's what's going to happen at WrestleMania. I don't want to spoil what Cypress said because some of these were
Oh
very
my
interesting
god.
takes. All
We're
right.
talking about
The
Cypress?
figure would be
Okay.
released in stores, and 40-year-olds would run to the store and buy out the whole inventory.
Oh man. Like how long am I? 3 hours? Okay, I'm not I thought okay, I kinda love this dumb fucking take, but I just want to get to the tariffs. I just want to hear how he starts off this conversation.
One more smart guys. Next, I believe it's Thursday. Oh, all right, just to be honest. But number two, I am planning on doing a post WrestleMania
Okay, I don't
Ethan
care.
Ralph on. Right? So that's what I do if it was just all four and we go back and forth. Then I bring on maybe Cypress. Then I bring on the third host. And so they have segments with each one, right? As opposed to if it was just
Oh, he stole someone else's idea, then made it into like one at a time because he gets very scared when there's
inflated the views
lot of
on the
noise.
show. Yeah. So YouTube would catch on or whatever. More shout outs.
Okay.
We've got help you.
We're
My
still
hair
talking
would look
about view
right?
bots.
To make my hair happens. And I will use $3 tip says to track away because I mean that's I'm like, this is not a troll. It's a genuine to the wrong people. You have to listen.
Are we literally not going to talk about the
Listen
tariffs?
to
He
me.
hyped it up.
That's why I like doing gaming content. Whatever. I love them all. I'm not some giant anything like that. People coming to I say or does YouTuber that's going to bring people to this. Does that mean Monster Hunter Wilds is a bad game? For my want this to want to do, if I was couldn't get people to support, I have to
Jesus, he went on a
and that's
fucking
it.
rant.
Around it, like doing drama content that bullies people.
Oh my god, dude! Like I can't with this.
And 90 joy who are internally great that in some ways like to let back people who want to be on lip on much better. No one on right now for me. For my face cam now. Oh shit. Clearly professional. The problem used to always be because Phil,
Dude, he hyped up talking about tariffs, and now he's not even talking about it. I guarantee. I know what. You know what? I think he got scared. He got scared. He was like, "Oh shit, I may have to talk about Trump, and I gotta be political." Oh god, he got very scared. See, I said my political shit. No shame, no fear. I'm sure people disagree with me, but whatever. I'm just gonna say my point, and that's all I. That's it. There you go. Bing, bing, boom. Sometimes you just gotta be the one, either to say something dumb, something smart, something stupid. You know, you gotta
is
say
limited in
some
what he can play
bullshit.
because he can't afford. Now I have the flexibility to do all of those things watching and no one's place done. A game out on stream that Assassin's Creed Shadows games that don't hold interest. This is a continue to have these.
I'm sure. I'm sure if I listened to this, I could find Nintendo hypocrisy business wise, but
Everything I think. All right, the cost. The now after amidst all this Nintendo Switch 2 launch madness.
All right, launch
That's
madness.
been happening all week long.
Here we
We've been
go,
talking
guys.
about
Finally,
the release date.
let's get political.
The cost, the accessories, and everyone's been talking about how it's so expensive. Nintendo doesn't seem to be the cost conscious.
Oh my god!
Memory
Get
cards
to
for
the
expansion.
point.
Ridiculously
Oh,
expensive because you need this
God.
express version of the card.
Dude.
All the accessories are
I
expensive.
may meander at the
games
beginning of
are
this
priced
video.
at
This is
insanely
worse.
premium prices.
This is worse.
70, 80 plus
Yeah, I
dollars.
said it.
Right? So all of this discussion going on, and then, ladies and gentlemen, this morning we get this news. You ready for this?
Are you ready? Okay, let's go. Let's fucking go.
Nintendo delays Switch 2 pre-orders in the United States.
Okay, this is my prediction. My prediction: he's gonna blame Nintendo because I guarantee nobody is gonna actually think that maybe the tariffs are bad. Maybe, but no, it's Nintendo's fault. Obviously, Nintendo told Trump to do it. That's what happened. Doug Bowser walked into the White House and was like, "Sir Trump, please put tariffs on everything. Why not? Go crazy. Let him out."
And this all came from this announcement from GameStop this morning. Pre-orders for Nintendo Switch 2 in the US will not start on April 9th, 2025, in order to assess the potential impact of tariffs and evolving market conditions. Nintendo will update timing at a later date. The launch date of June 5th is
he reads
unchanged.
this like a bedtime story.
GameStop will continue to work
He reads
closely
like
with
a bedtime
Nintendo
story.
and provide updates as soon as more information becomes available. Stay tuned for further details.
Details.
And so then literally
I
every
say
news
details.
outlet picked up on that story and regurgitated it and re-reported it. See?
See?
So you
Look
might
at
say,
this.
well, wait, what are we talking about here? What tariffs? Okay.
Oh.
Well,
Are
if
you
you
gonna
didn't
show?
know,
Show us
President
the
Donald
tweet.
Trump has essentially
Oh.
clapped back at the world. What does that mean?
What?
The world has always
Oh my God.
instituted hefty tariffs against United States products.
God.
For example, Vietnam has something like
Oh.
a 90%
Man,
markup
okay.
on American goods. If anyone who lives in Vietnam wants to buy something from the United States, they have to pay a 90% tariff in order to get that item imported. Okay? Some countries have always had these issues. For example,
Yeah, but now it's gonna get
Brazil.
worse because they're gonna up
In
their
Brazil,
tariffs too. Like
the
this
cost of everything has always been
This is
sky.
what's so dumb about this because they're saying oh they put tariffs on in the U.S. But if we're putting tariffs on other stuff, they're just gonna retaliate too, and then eventually we're just gonna be left alone and we're not gonna be able to get anything. And everyone's saying, well, that's the point. But then it's like, well, then I guess you never liked Nintendo games. They're gonna be stuck with. So then, you know what? Nobody can complain about fucking California games. You're gonna buy games from California and eat it. There you go. You want that? You want that to be our future? To buy games with pronouns and dyed hair? Yeah, that's gonna be the future. And yeah, I'm gonna support it because clearly, the woke mind virus got me, man. I'm so down woke.
And people say, why? It's because of issues like this, these ongoing tariffs, where everything that they try to import in Brazil is just way expensive. And you might say, well, what's the purpose of tariffs? What purpose do they serve? The idea behind a tariff is if you make a foreign product, a product that's manufactured outside of your home country more expensive to buy than a product that's manufactured in your country, then your populace is more apt to just buy domestic products, i.e., products manufactured in your home country. This means that now the companies in your country will
Yeah,
do
you know,
better.
Nintendo's gonna move to
This will result in
California.
better sales,
Remember when
better
everyone was
job
mad?
creation
You know what,
for your
guys?
country.
Everyone loves Sony. Sony knew this was gonna happen. Moved to California, and now they're in America, so we could buy Sony games. Everyone loves them. Every time Sony puts out a game, I see nothing but excitement. Everyone loves The Last of Us 2. Everyone's excited for the next Naughty Dog game. Everyone loves it. So that's the future, obviously.
Country, and you're trying to basically improve your country's position with these tariffs, right? One of the major problems we have in the United States is, no exaggeration, the vast majority of products that we as Americans purchase are foreign products. I couldn't tell you, out of all the products that are literally sitting in front of me right now, my keyboard, my mouse, this mouse pad, okay? This Stream Deck,
Remember when you mocked people
this
for buying stuff made
other
in
mouse
China?
pad
Like,
rest here, my laptop, this
Yeah,
freaking
you mean
Portal 2
China?
coaster that I have sitting right here, the webcam, this boom arm, the mic itself.
Again, he's saying all this, but just remember, this dude was like mocking things for being made in China. Just keep that in mind as he's like panicking over the fact that we are dependent on importing other stuff. That's the reality of it. Even when people were talking about tariffs, the Trump tariffs initially, they were like comparing to the Obama tariffs, but they were saying that with Obama, he only tariffed like smaller things because we want like to make tires in America, so we're just gonna put tariffs on just like that, whatever. And it went from there. He didn't do these blanket, widespread tariffs for the hope that one day we may open a factory here, which is not gonna happen, and it's not gonna happen anytime soon. Like, it's probably gonna happen, like, well, how long does it take to build a functioning factory? And also, like, there was also a story that said, like, Apple said that if they were to make an iPhone in America, it would cost, like, $3,000 to be made here. So it's like, if it was made here, it wouldn't be affordable. Because unless what's going to happen is we're going to chip away from any workers' protections and allow children to work and have our own sweatshops. Like, which... I guess you can argue that's going to happen because we're now starting to weaken child labor protections, which is kind of wild. I can't believe that's even trying to be happening here, but whatever. So that, I guess that could happen. I mean, eventually we'll just have our own sweatshops, and everyone loves that. Everyone loves sweatshops. I don't think there's any ethical issues at all unless you read stories where things happen with kids in shops and you know, fun stuff, right?
It sell all the crap you see behind me right now. I guarantee you, there is not a single product sitting in front of me that was manufactured in the United States.
Right. Okay.
Every single product was manufactured outside of the U.S. And the problem with that is that our country has fallen into this gap, this problem. We don't manufacture anything anymore that anyone wants. So all the businesses left. All these companies have outsourced all their labor elsewhere. So when you look at the U.S. economy and you say, why are there no good jobs here? Why is every job fast food, being a waiter or a waitress or a bar?
Yeah, totally. Because factory jobs would pay so much. Yeah, people who work on assembly lines, they would make like a lot of money, right? They wouldn't be paid like paid lowly, have no protections. For them to be affordable, right? Like, I mean, come on.
Bartender, working in a retail store. This is why. Because we don't make anything. Everything is cheaper when purchased outside of the U.S. All right? So that's why we're in the situation we're in. So what Trump is trying to do is saying, listen, every other country out there already has big tariffs against our products. You have to pay double, triple for our products if you buy them in another country. All I'm going to do is make this an even playing field because they've gotten this one up on us forever. So now I'm going to put tariffs back on their products.
Yeah,
if we're going to import from China, boom, 30% tariff. And we're going to import from Vietnam,
because it's
boom,
a stacked
40% tariff. Let's just keep laying these fuckers out, right? across the board,
Yeah,
like they've been doing to us.
so cool, right?
Now we'll make the market fair, and now we'll see.
But think about it like this though: is it really fair? Because before we got stuff pretty cheap when we were buying stuff. Now the prices are going up. So is that really fair for us? It may be fair for somebody that isn't us, but it's fair for somebody else, and I guess that's what's important.
Over time, how this will affect things. Will
We
this
just don't know yet.
actually benefit
We can't see the
the
vision
United
yet.
States, where maybe we'll actually start to get products from the U.S. again?
Yeah,
because
like
they'll actually end
Nintendo
up being
games,
cheaper than the
right?
ones we're importing. Or vice versa. Maybe some of these countries will realize, oh shit, everything we're buying now is so much more expensive because a tariff has been imposed.
Or
So
they'll just
let's
won't
actually be more
buy.
reasonable to the United States, and let's relax the tariffs that we've
Yeah,
been putting
that's
on
definitely
these
what's
products.
gonna happen.
All right. So
Yeah,
what Trump is
that's what's
attempting
happening
to do is play
now,
hardball.
right? That's why
He's
all these
hoping that
countries want to
for
double their
immediate
tariffs.
short-term issues of like raised prices, that long-term, the world's going to realize you can't fuck with the U.S. anymore because we're not going to be a pussy anymore. We're going to
Oh
actually stand
man,
up to you guys
wow,
trying to bully us.
wow.
So
Yeah, sure, buddy.
maybe this will work. Maybe it won't. There's no way to really tell. To be
Yeah.
honest,
If
I'm
all
not really following politics too heavily. In this case,
okay,
I just
it
kind of know what's going on
yeah.
because, you see how it's going to affect it. What's going to happen? Could our food costs go up? Yes. Could the other costs go up? Yes.
Eggs have been going
All
up,
right. We
dude.
don't know what's
Like,
going to
come
happen. All of
on.
our prices might
It's
shoot up dramatically now for everything we buy here in the country for like a year, or it might not. It could only be a short term thing. And then the countries will relent and be like, all right, you know what? Trump's playing hardball. We're going to relent. We're going to
dude, they
lower all our
hate Trump.
tariffs now.
Why would the
And
fuck
then
would
maybe
they
Trump will be
care?
like,
They
all
don't.
right,
They
well,
don't
'cause
like
you
this
did that,
guy.
now I'll concede and I'll relax our tariffs. So
The, oh
what will
man,
happen?
okay,
We
sure.
really don't know.
The
All
only
right,
person
we
that
just
loves
don't
Trump
know.
is
It's a new
Putin in
thing.
a
This
way.
really hasn't been attempted in a long time. Okay. But since Trump is now enacting all of these tariffs, that means that all of these products that we're getting out of the United States are going to cost more. The Nintendo Switch 2, 100% will be more costly because of these tariffs. So what Nintendo is saying is, if Trump is serious and he's instituting these tariffs right now, we can't, in good, knowledge, faith, conscience, do pre-orders. If we do a pre-order now for $450, right? But by the time that this thing's going to go on sale, the price is skyrocketed for us by another $100 a unit. We can't do that. We're shooting ourselves in the foot. So what they're going to do is they're going to wait. He's going to wait, and maybe wait a month, right? Maybe in May, the pre-orders will go live in the United States. And let's see, did the tariffs actually go into, effect? How much did they
Yeah, 'cause
affect
these are just
prices? And maybe they're going to scale.
implements.
Maybe
They're
it's
not
not
like
450
implemented
anymore.
yet.
Maybe now the price is 550. Okay?
Right?
Now the funny part is we've already been saying the Switch 2 is going to be too expensive, not the base console price, but the fact that the games are going to be $80, $90 each, whatever it's going to be, that the accessories, all right, are going to be so ridiculously expensive, right? That's the problem.
Right. Yeah.
Now on top of that, you're going to inflate the cost of the
Remember-
console's
By the way,
pre-orders,
these people wanted
and you
Trump to
may
win
even
because
be
he was
inflating
gonna
the cost
fix
of
the
all the
economy and
accessories. Like
fix the
right now, they
interest
claim the Pro
rates
controller is
and
$79.99.
all this stuff. All
There's
this
nothing
fun
to stop them
stuff.
from saying, well, because of the tariffs, now it's $99.99.
Well, they're gonna have
However,
to do that. They don't wanna lose
what
money.
Nintendo doesn't realize here is very simple.
Oh man, here
This
we
is
go.
not going to be supported by the common gamer anymore. Because if you're making the Switch to a premium product, people expect premium results. Did anything we saw from these directs this
See, I knew we were gonna double down and go all the way back to blaming Nintendo for the price. The price of the console could make sense for the console itself, or the hardware that's inside of the games are a different story. I'm not gonna fucking argue about the games, but 450, I think is I would argue somewhat reasonable for what's in that Switch 2. But he's arguing that is there any of value? The fucking hardware costs money to make, my guy. Do you think these chips just pop up? They just materialize out of nothing? Like they have to pay for these things.
this week say premium? To me, what I saw was try to catch up with everyone else, not excel past everyone else. This is not, oh, our graphics are better. We
It's
have
better than Switch
more
1.
features. We're just getting the same features as everybody else now.
But
right?
what?
So the
Whatever.
common gamer might be like, do you really think I'm going to drop $550 to $600 for the console, $100 for a controller, $200 for a memory card, $300 to buy 3 games? Do you think I have $1,500 to spend on Switch 2? The common person does not. Now,
Okay.
gamers and techie guys, content creators like me, yeah, we have the money to drop on it. We
Oh,
absolutely do.
okay. So
But
then
the
why are you
common person
crying?
does not. All right? So
Don't worry about
this
what's in
could
my
actually
wallet, okay?
significantly hurt Nintendo in a way that they never anticipated.
But again,
Kind
he's saying that the Switch 2 is gonna hurt Nintendo, but not these tariffs that Trump has put into place. Like, they could get their money out anywhere else. At this point, we may not even get these products anymore. Like, that could potentially happen. Like, oh man, okay.
Kind of like how back during COVID, the lack of processors completely destroyed the PlayStation 5 launch for several years. So I'm very curious of what might actually happen here. This is unprecedented. We haven't had anything like this happen in history yet. So,
well, I mean, there were
what will
mass
happen?
tariffs in the
Will
past.
the market bear this? Will prices skyrocket? Will
You
the
know, like,
tariffs hurt Nintendo?
They implemented
This
they
all could
implemented
be
tariffs
very,
during
very
the Great Depression, and that
realistic.
didn't help.
And I've never seen a
And then
console
they
say,
did
"Oh, it's
another
going to be
time
on
they used it,
pre-order,"
and
and
that
then
was
within 2
also
days,
bad.
"Oh, no pre-orders.
And then
We're
it happened
delaying
this
it. We'll see what
time.
happens." It's just never
So-
happened before.
It's like not great.
So let's see what happens and go from there.
It's all
But
that.
there's not much to say
Man.
until we see what happens with this market and with
Right.
these tariffs and you know what Nintendo decides to do. Nintendo suspending the pre-orders in the US definitely means they're probably going to raise prices. And it ain't going to be $450 anymore.
Yeah. Well, why would
Which
they?
is kind of dumb.
Why would
'Cause
they?
here's why.
What?
Everyone says this. First impressions are everything. You have one chance to make a first impression, and that's what sticks in everyone's mind. I'll give you a perfect example. When the
How is this even fair? To even like hold it to Nintendo, because like this is literally just like, hey, this shit that Trump has done is insane. We can't like do this because we'll lose money if these tariffs are like high enough, and how it's gonna calculate for us. So like, of course they're gonna have to delay it. How is that fair to blame Nintendo for that? Did Doug Bowser like say, yeah, Nintendo, yeah, Trump, do it? Like, come on.
When the Xbox One was originally announced way back when, what was it, friend,
Okay.
you need it literally said, okay, we're gonna go
Yeah.
back on all digital only. You need on
So what are they gonna do? Okay, guys, we're gonna have a special like sign up where we will just sneak in the Switch 2 into the country that bypasses the tariffs. It's gonna be super cool. And don't tell anybody, okay? Don't snitch. If you snitch, then you gotta pay the tariff price.
need online all
everyone.
the time. You can't trade games. They still thought all that, even though Microsoft had very much backpedaled on all of it. Nobody knew. With Nintendo, they've already did their big announcement. They've already given you the initial launch
what?
Microsoft announcement for Xbox, and then they went back on all of that. They literally said, okay, we're going to go back on all that stuff. But the common person didn't know.
But that
The
was
common person only saw the original announcement for Xbox
man,
One and
okay.
still thought when the console launched, it's digital, digital only. You need online all the time. You can't trade games. They still thought all that, even though Microsoft had very much backpedaled on all of it. Nobody knew.
It could also just be
With
bad
Nintendo,
reputation.
They've already did
Whatever.
their big announcement. They've already given you the initial launch prices and the date and the availability. If they change it, a lot of people might not even realize they're changing it. And then when they actually go to get it, be like, wait, what? That's sticker shock.
But
And this might
but then they're gonna like realize when it's time to pre-order that they can pre-order, then look into why they can't pre-order when it said that they could, and then see a sign that says, hey, tariffs, buddy. And then they're gonna be like, oh, okay. And then they're gonna continue to bash their head into the wall. Like, come on.
very well hurt Nintendo in a big way in the United States. Now, outside of the US, Nintendo has said they're not doing anything else like that. So I guess we'll see what
I got-
happens.
I
moving
gotta
forward.
talk to my uncle
anything,
in Greece.
boy,
He
guys,
could
let me
get it
just say,
for me.
I
I
must be the
I
luckiest
figured it out.
motherfucker on earth. I just literally upgraded my entire setup, right? I got a mid to high end gaming PC,
Again, I had a theory about all of this. That not necessarily that, oh, he knew that the tariffs were coming or whatever, but he did say that he wanted to get all this stuff in time for his taxes. Like that's why he bought all this stuff in December, because he wanted to get it within that tax bracket, whatever, and then he can like pay it off. That's it. And I did think, because even when Trump was like elected and all this other stuff, people were saying, yeah, prices are probably gonna go up with this guy, because he's been saying on the campaign trail he wants to do tariffs and this and that, blah blah blah. So like there was at least a suspicion. I thought I said suspicion that he was gonna raise prices. So it could be realistically assumed that DSP just thought that could happen, agreed with the fear, and then just did all this spur of the moment. So it's like not really that surprising. You know what I'm saying?
A great capture streaming PC, all this tech, a PS5 Pro. I've got everything that I need right here. So I don't have to spend any money right now. If I did, I might be spending double what I just spent to upgrade everything. So, whew, boy, it's like everything lined up perfect for me.
Yeah.
To be able to do everything at the right time. Because I could have been fucked. Imagine if like right now I was going to upgrade my setup and I go to buy everything and everything's double price.
Okay.
Oh my God. So, wow.
Yeah, all right, man.
A big sigh of relief for me. But for any consumer
literally bought
right
it
now
because
who's in the midst,
of
can you
the
imagine someone who's in
taxes.
the midst of like opening a business right now or doing a significant upgrade?
Oh,
All of a sudden, all
but
the
there's no
prices have
jobs,
become
Phil.
insane. I mean,
They
that's
can't
just
open a job.
freaking
There's no jobs
crazy.
here. Come on.
Crazy. So
What about that? Crazy.
I guess let's see what happens. All right.
All right. Thank God I was able to monetize before.
All right. I got a couple shout outs to do.
All right.
And then we'll just open up.
I'm not gonna bother with these shout outs. Okay, I thought it was gonna be 4 hours. I was scared. I was scared that this was gonna be too long. I am scared about the political talk, but I trust you guys. Because I've been political before. I've shouted Trump before, but look, we'll see what happens at the end of the day. But I just don't think it's gonna be worth it at the end. I don't see the vision. I don't see what Trump sees. Okay, that's what's going on here. Maybe I'll understand once it happens. Well, sometimes it's not about the destination, it's about the journey along the way, but this time maybe the other way around, where it's not about the journey, it's about the destination. So we'll see where this will lead us, and maybe we will actually get a cheaper Switch. Maybe that's what's gonna happen. We're gonna bleed for years, and then America will make their own Nintendo, and we'll make our own Mario Kart. We'll be so isolated that we can just do that without copyright fears. But we just can't stream it. That'll be the only issue. We can't stream these games because we don't want Nintendo to know that we like stole Mario, obviously, because it's fucked up. But at the same time, this is the Trump vision. But anyways, thanks for watching. Look, I am not gonna be the one to tell you what to buy. The only thing I'll tell you what to buy is when it comes to Guilty Gear, and yes, you should buy the Guilty Gear Exart art book. It's a good book. It's a thick book. It's a fun book. And it has like the goated designs. Okay, there's no Strife art book that doesn't exist, but the Exart art book does exist, and that is worth the money, and it is pretty cheap for now, because maybe the terms will affect that too, but who knows. Get it now while you can. It's a good book. So that's the only thing I'll ever tell you to do, just buy Guilty Gear art books. That's it. That's the only thing I want to brainwash you into doing. Other than that, I don't care. Live your life. Go outside, drive a car, eat grass. I don't know what the kids do these days, but thanks for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. If you have not lost interest, but it's fine. I get it. Shit happens. It's all good. It's all we can all laugh at other stuff. But DSB is a dumbass. That we can unite and say he sucks and he's an idiot. He's stupid. He's a piece of shit. He's a fat fuck. He is a
fuckhead.
Exactly. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good weekend. Bye.